welcome. It's the Republic of Football. The Republic of Football. It's the Republic of Football. Let's play some football. Maybe if you want, let's dig deep into some analysis to bring you the latest updates from Europe. Brighton scores in first minute as 3 games, are underway. It's Brighton up against Wolves. Wolves are winless in their last 19 away Premier League matches. 5 draws, 14 losses. Last had a longer away winless run somewhere between April 2003 and August 2004. It's in 23 games. Hello and welcome. I am Bernard Baker. Let's get to the Stadium of Light. We are live on Channel 1 TV. We are live on 97.3 City FM. We are live on YouTube at City Sports GHA. Follow the link on City 97.3 FM on X. And watch us from that platform as well. We'll be receiving your thoughts and all from that space. So it's Brighton up against Wolves. 5 minutes into that game. Fulham up against AFC Bournemouth. And Sunderland against Manchester United. 5 minutes into the game for United. There's a big name that's in the setup. Casemiro. You'll be wondering why he's not in the setup. But listen to this. So Nuzai Mazraoui, Martinez are in for Dalot and Haven at the back. There's Mount, Diallo, who starts over Casemiro, and Mbomo in attack. Up front is Zirkzee, who replaces injured Sheshko. So for United, is Senel Lamont in posts, Nuzai Mazraoui, Harry Maguire, Lissandro Martinez, and of course there's Luke Shaw, Kobe Mainoo and Mount playing the double pivot in the 4-2-3-1 formation. Matthias Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, and Amad Diallo, plus Joshua Zirkzee starting for Manchester United. For Sunderland, United nearly scored, but you listen to this first. Robin in post for Sunderland. There's Nordy, who's in defense, together with Gertruda, and of course there's Omar and the likes of Mandava in the setup. Granit Xhaka and Noah forms there's Noah Sadiki, who forms the double pivots. There's Hom together with Enzo and Talbi, who are behind Brian Broby. Welcome to our show. If you just tune in, this is 97.3 City FM, the latest across Europe. Guys are already seated. Yao AJ Mita is my colleague on the Channel 1 Sports Decks, and of course the City Sports Decks. My colleague on the desk, and of course Kobe Obeng, fantastic footballer analyst. Maybe I can call you Shiny Brother 3.
Shiny, oh yes. I mean, it's a very popular name these days. When I'm in the studio with Yao and Gabi, that's all we hear at the beginning.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Shining Brother 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
I think the third, if you accept the third, you shine more.
Yes.
You are close to Gabi's.
Yes. I think I shine the brightest out of all 3.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I take pride in it.
Fantastic. That's special. Yao AJ Minta, Yao, how are you?
I'm doing well.
That's fantastic. Great to have you here again. And we'll have to just dig deeper. Mano Angelo, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. I'm fantastic as well. Let's get into it deeper. Of course, we're coming back from the backdrop of Liverpool drawing 1-1 with Chelsea. Chelsea are going to be in trouble if they don't take care, how they are managing their football club. But let's stay with this game that's happening. United at Sunderland. Casemiro not in the picture. Yeah, are you surprised?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised because he's been one of their best players for the past 3 months, and to see him not feature in this game, I think it's a bit of a surprise. Maybe those reports that emerged earlier this week.
Brighton has gotten his second goal. Dunk got the goal for Brighton. It's 2-0 against Wolves.
Yeah, maybe those reports that came in earlier this week regarding the Brazilian contingent in Man United. There was this report that I picked up that the Brazilian Federation would love to have their work load reduced. Those players in the Man United team because of the upcoming World Cup. But particularly Matheus Cunha and Casemiro. You know, Casemiro is old these days, and you know, once the workload gets a bit intense, it affects his output. And Cunha also has had some injury issues, so they would love it if Man United could, you know, scale down the workload on those guys. Knowing very well that they've clinched qualification to the Champions League, and so there's nothing more to fight for this season. They are not in any cup competition at this stage of the season, so the only target that they were aiming at was to get to the Champions League, and now they've achieved it. And so if you've achieved it, then there's no major reason why you should keep on having a guy like Casemiro out there playing, stretching all those limbs, and put him under a lot of pressure ahead of what is going to be a very, very intense World Cup campaign for any team and every team. It's going to be intense. This World Cup is going to be very intense. And like we discussed last week, the Brazilian team is under tremendous pressure because after winning the 2022 World Cup, the 2002 World Cup, they haven't done much regard to top level performance in the World Cup. I think their best has been since then has been the 2014 one where they got to,
where we went to misbehave.
Yeah, where they go to the semi-finals and they got beat by Germany 7-1.
That was an embarrassment.
Yeah,
as well.
the embarrassment, and they didn't even win the bronze medal in that tournament too. And so that just highlighted how poor they've been over the years since they won the World Cup in 2002. And so this is the time where they believe that they can get something done. Their players under a lot of pressure. The coach is also under a lot of pressure. So anything they can do to get an edge or to get a bit of an advantage, they will do it. And so, those reports that came in, I initially just brushed it aside. But seeing Casemiro miss out on a game like this, and he's not injured, we haven't heard of any injury issue. He's not on the bench. It makes me believe such reports are true, and I'll be looking forward to see what happens to Matheus Cunha in the coming minutes and in the coming games. But it is a big shock to see Casemiro not featuring in this game because, like I said, he's been one of Man United's best players over the past 3 months, and I don't think it's coincidence that that has happened because Man United got kicked out of all the cup competitions. So what that meant was that they were playing a game a week, and if you are playing a game a week, then that means there's more time for recovery for a guy like Casemiro. But if you are playing a game and 3 days later you're playing another game, sometimes even 2 days you're playing another game, it's a bit too tasking on his body because he's not FC Porto Casemiro or Real Madrid Casemiro. He's way off that mark from a physical standpoint. And so in that sense, Man United's exits from those competitions aided him to rediscover his form. And that's how come he's played so well over the past 3-4 months, ever since Man United got kicked out of all the cup competitions that they were in. And so, I mean, once the work load is reduced, he will definitely be in better shape to compete. So, yeah, like I said, I'm a bit surprised that he's not in the squad. But against Sunderland, Man United are struggling right now. To get a hold of the game, but I don't see them losing this game. I think they'll be able to maintain their winning momentum to close out the season.
I'll come back to you, Yao, and see how the season wraps up. But I mean, Kobe, it's good we talk about Bruno Fernandes, who's the United captain, who wins the Footballers Writers Award, the FWA. Award as a footballer of the year. How instrumental does this mean to this football club? In Bruno saying that, look, I had a lot of offers coming in, but I want to stay at this club. Then ends up, playing fantastic again and getting this all important award and features in today's game against Sunderland.
All this tells me is that Bruno Fernandes is a loyal player. He loves the club, and he's a high quality. He's a player of the highest quality. Because Manchester United have been in a slump since the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson in 2013. They haven't won the league, even though they've won trophies here and there, the Europa League in 2017, the FA Cup and the League Cup in some years. But United has not been as successful as they once were. And so his performances tend to go under the radar. But there's been a stark difference since he joined the club in 2020. And you can see the quality, not just in his play, but in the leadership, how he galvanizes the team. Because he was the captain for a bit, and then he wasn't the captain. Harry Maguire was the captain when he came. But then even when Maguire was the captain, you could see that he was the one who came in with the initiative.
A bit of leadership.
Exactly. He came in with the leadership. He came in, he was galvanizing the team, leading them, picking them up from disadvantageous positions and turning things around on his own. And he's carried that into this season. The beginning of the season was quite rocky for Manchester United. The players did not have a proper understanding of what Ruben Amorim was expecting from them in terms of tactics. But he still came good. Even though he was playing in a double pivot with Casemiro and that 3-4-3, he still found a way to make his way forward, create chances and score goals on his own. Right now, he's on the cusp of equaling Kevin De Bruyne and Thierry Henry's assist record, which is incredible because this season started so poorly for United, and Michael Carrick has only been around for about 4 months or so. But the change has been drastic. So one can only imagine, had Amorim been more malleable with his tactics and allowed United players to play the way they want to play from the beginning of the season, how many assists and how many goals would he have right now? I think it's marvelous news for United fans all over the world that Bruno Fernandes has decided to commit his future to the club. He's 32 years old right now, but he's still spry, he's still energetic, and his game can only get better at this point in time. I think he's one of the best players, not only in the league but in the world. And it's really a boon to the club that he's interested in staying. So long as he keeps getting the support from the manager, from the fans and from his teammates, so long as the teammates keep finishing the chances that he creates, I think United can only go upwards. Because next season, I don't know what the situation will be in terms of management. Maybe Carrick will be given the permanent job. We'll
get into that because he was tasked to put this club into Champions League football. He does it in great fashion.
Yes.
Where how he allowed the team play, which excited most of United faithful. So we'll get to that. I'll love you to hold on to that. But guys who are doing the listening and watching from YouTube, you can leave your comment in the comment box, and I'll be reading them for you on radio. 0539 986 996 on our WhatsApp console. 0539 986 996. Get us get involved, and let's have you on the show to share your thoughts. As well. 0539 986 996. Well, I'll be flying through X to see your messages from that end, and I'll be reading them on the show. So on YouTube, leave your comments in there. So on TV, you are welcome. Join the number on 0539 986 996 and leave your comments through, and we'll be reading them for you. Now, Sunderland, Kwachi, they're all over Manchester United with constant pressure and pressure. I feel that's superb. But it came to Senan Lemans, that save where he shielded the ball, trying to prevent Brobbey from getting contact. I mean, the contribution of this goalkeeper into taking this club into Champions League football, and still not getting satisfied and wanting to do more. You feel the level of recruitment, well, it's been much spoken of, but the level of recruitment, especially in the goalkeeping department, whoa, hold on a bit. There's a ball that goes into Ahmad's hand. We'll talk about Le Mans shortly. Sorry,
I don't
you don't
think
it's
that's
a penalty?
penalty.
His hand was way off
There's
his
a lot
body.
of
It's
in the
was
Premier League now.
blocking
I
the
think
ball.
sometimes you can hit your body and then go on and hit your arm, and I think according to the rules that shouldn't be given as a penalty.
So it got into his body before it got to arm.
It hit his body before it went to his arm, so I don't think that should be given as a penalty. And it's the check has been cleared.
So penalty not given. Back to Senan Lemans then. I mean, how solid he's been for United. They've not been a consistent front line in terms of defenders, in front of him. Today is Heaven and Maguire. Tomorrow, Alessandro Maguire. He keeps twisting, and Luisa Mazraoui at a point. How instrumental has he been in coordinating the defensive line to ensure United are still in the game and in Champions League football up until now?
I think he's been incredible since he's been at the club. If you look at the performances that he's put up, and if you have to also take into consideration the fact that he was not necessarily everyone's first choice. At the point at which he was coming in, there was a lot of frustration with Onana. That's after he made the mistake against Grimsby Town. And going in for Lamens, a lot of people were thinking that he should go in for the goalkeeper Aston Villa, Emiliano Martinez.
Yeah,
given he's a World Cup winner, he has experience, and he's played in the Premier League before. But to go and buy a keeper from Royal Antwerp all the way in Belgium and to bring him to Manchester United in the heat of the moment. This was when Amorim himself was under a lot of pressure. And so that means that coming in, he himself already has a lot of work to do before he's able to have an impact. And I think that he's been able to do that since he's been at the club. I think the thing that would impress most people is his presence, if that makes sense. He has a certain calmness. Onana, whether it's his fault or not, maybe it's the compounding of errors that he constantly kept making. But I felt like there was a point where he became jittery and he was unstable when he was in the post. Lamens is almost the opposite of that, and he's able to give the team that's playing in front of him the confidence to be able to defend well as a unit. And he's one of the goalkeepers I like, because there are lots of goalkeepers, when you look at them, people decide either they're good with their feet or good with their hands. Yeah. And I think he's one of those keepers who's able to, the keepers that are coming up, I don't know if it's the way they're being trained, but he's been able to balance the two quite well, such that not necessarily that one is the weakness. Obviously, you have a better strength. I think he's better at goalkeeping. But him using his feet hasn't necessarily come up in the situation like how it would be with Donnarumma at Man City. And that's probably mainly, again, because he's younger. And even with Donnarumma, I think credit to him, I think it was slightly exaggerated how people said he couldn't use his feet. You would think he couldn't kick the football. He's been all right so far.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's the importance of a good goalkeeper. Just to go on touch on the Bruno point again, I think it's interesting that I don't know if you saw it, but Ferdinand earlier made a point this week about how, at least in terms of the Ballon d'Or, when people were talking about Ousmane Dembele being the leading candidate for the Ballon d'Or, and the only primary reason is because he's PSG are back in the Champions League final. I think some of the panelists are making the point that if you look at football now, there's a lot of dependence on I would say it's retrospective, if that makes sense. So once you go on and you win the league, a bit like we're seeing with Declan Rice now. Rice has been really good, but then once you go on and win the league and you win the Champions League, then retrospectively we start deciding, he must have been the best player in this team, he deserves to win this award. And I think visually, if you look at it, Fernandes has probably been the best player in the Premier League this season. He hasn't played for the best team. He hasn't played for the team that's probably going to win the league. But if you talk about individual impact on a club's season, that's definitely Bruno Fernandes. And I think I hope we're moving into an era where we can overlook just necessarily trophies and having to our statistics and having to award just purely based on who won this trophy or who won the Champions League, or if you win the treble, that's when you decide to win the Champions League. I think stand-up performances can come even beyond that. And obviously, being able to do all that and go on and win should definitely have have more weight than other people who weren't able to do that. But I think as football grows beyond the Messi Ronaldo era, if I'm being honest, because that's where all these things started from. It started from if Messi
you don't think it's because of where they are. Messi's in America.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, but no, my point is before they came in, I think we were more open to these things. I don't know if Cannavaro won in 2006 because of I'd say the World Cup, and maybe Kaká won in 2007 because of the Champions League he won with AC Milan. But I think if you go back a little before, it wasn't always necessarily consistent with the player who won the Champions League. But I think when the Messi and Ronaldo era started, I think we had to cut it short. The person who wins the Champions League is the person who should win the Ballon d'Or this year. And I think you had a similar situation even with the World Cup. I think when Messi won, and just these little factors. And I think that now we're in an era where these are not the differentiating factors, if you get me. At some point, Messi will score 50 league goals, Ronaldo scores 48. It's very difficult to say one of them has been better. You have to use a measure to decide who deserves to win the league. And then, but I think now, if you look at...
It's changed?
I think it has changed. But I think there's more of a team effort. And I think you've seen that even with Man City sometimes. There have been years where they won the league and we struggle to see who's the best player. The year was given to Foden. He was probably the most consistent, but I wouldn't say he was the best player. There was a year where they gave it to Ruben Diaz because he couldn't decide who was the best Man City player of the year. And that's what I'm saying. I think from going on in terms of awards, I think we also need to be looking at the impact that the player has on the team and not necessarily using the whole overall team's trophies and then selecting the best player from that team.
0539 986 996 is your WhatsApp line. 0539 986 996. It's 25 minutes so far in the greatest league on planet, the English Premier League. Earlier it was Liverpool played 1-1 with Chelsea. Brighton are beating Wolves by 2-0 at 25 minutes. 0-0 between Fulham and AFC Bournemouth at the Stadium of Lights is Manchester United, who are playing a goalless draw, receiving the pressure as well against Sunderland. And later at 4:30 is Manchester City up against Brentford. In La Liga, Elche played 1-1 with Deportivo Alaves. Well, the game between Sevilla and Espanyol will be delayed. We'll tell you about that later. Atletico Madrid versus Celta Vigo is at 4:30, and 7 p.m. is Real Sociedad versus Real Betis. In the German Bundesliga, there's Augsburg, who beating Borussia Mönchengladbach by 2-0 is at halftime. Hoffenheim versus Werder Bremen is also at halftime. It's 1-0 in favor of Hoffenheim, and Leipzig 1, St. Pauli 0 at halftime. Stuttgart 2, Bayern Leverkusen 1. Wolves will be playing Bayern Munich later at 4:30 in the German Bundesliga. In the Italian Serie A, it's Cagliari 0, Udinese 1. Lazio up against Inter later at 4 p.m. And there is Lecce versus Juventus at 6:45. Know that in Italy, the trophy stays with Inter Milan because they've got 82 points. Napoli follows keenly with 70 points. But you check the number of games that's to be played. 38 games, got 3 more games to go, and there's no way Napoli is closing up. Champions are Inter waiting to finish or wrap up with the event in that space. So that's what's been happening as it stands across Europe in your top flight European football. Let's revert to this United game and talk for a minute. Interestingly, United has not been good enough. The pressure has been mounting for a moment, and Sunderland are pressing high up the pitch. Then there are questions that this squad still needs an open heart surgery. Kobe, you look at, it's just Casemiro who's not in the setup. Aiden Haven as well, not in the setup, allowing the likes of Ndalo, allowing the likes of Nuzam Mazraoui, Sandro Martinez, and all of those guys chipping Mount as well, and Diallo starts this time. It seems when the team is tweaked a little, you see things like this, Sunderland, pressing high up the pitch.
I think a sine qua non for a team that hopes to excel in future, that hopes to win trophies, that hopes to compete at the highest level, both domestically and abroad, is squad depth. Okay. And Manchester United, even though the purchases that have been made recently in terms of goalkeeping with Senne Lamens, as Angelo very intelligently discussed, I can say that this team does not have a proper second team. And that has been a problem for clubs like Liverpool in the past few years. In the days when Jurgen Klopp was competing for the Premier League title with Pep Guardiola just about every season, his downfall was the fact that he did not have a viable second team that he could use to compete in games when the likes of Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, and Jordan Henderson were not fully fit. And so he would use them unnecessarily throughout the season, and then when it came down to crunch time, when it came down to the last 10 games of the season, they would start dropping points. And this issue will be a problem for United if appropriate purchases are not made, because Casemiro has been the bedrock of Manchester United's midfield throughout the season, and indeed for the 4 seasons that he has been at United. And his absence today has been felt clearly and strongly in the midfield, because there they go again, running through the midfield again, with no one to really stop them, with no midfielder. But Mason Mount is much more of an attack-minded midfielder. So for him to be sitting in a double pivot with Kobbie Mainoo is not sustainable. I understand that this is not a game that United needs to win. No matter what happens in these last 4 games, United will play in the Champions League next season. But it is a stark reminder that United is very thin on the squad side. Because if Casemiro is not around, mind you, Casemiro is 34 years old. So they need someone who is younger.
And leaving at the end of the season.
Exactly. So they need a young person who is energetic, but who still has that stability, the ability to sit and allow Kobbie Mainoo, allow Bruno Fernandes to push forward. And in this situation, Kobbie Mainoo will want to go for it. Mason Mount will also want to go for it. Because if you look at the screen right now, Mason Mount's position, he's more or less in the 10. So, it raises more questions than answers, because Mason Mount is not a tackler. Mason Mount is not someone who we can say can run all day, go around, just press people without necessarily picking the ball up for 90 minutes. No. He's never been that sort of player. So we can see that hole again. And up front, Sesko is injured, and so we have Joshua Zirkzee, and Joshua Zirkzee hasn't had many starts in his United career. It's been on and off. You come in,
The day I saw him dance at the Caribbeans, when there was street carnival,
yes,
I knew he was not a good player.
You knew he was not. I think he is a very good player. I think he's a good player.
I think that's slightly unfair.
But he's
no.
he's not the sort of player.
Look, I don't see top footballers do this, like a Cristiano Ronaldo, an Angel Di Maria, a Sergio Kun Aguero, maybe Aguero to some extent, naturally gifted, and he gets into that space and still comes out super good. But for Zirkzee, I feel he's young.
Yes.
He needs to work hard enough to earn his spot before he commits to the social life any player who's gone on that tangent has never excelled.
Well, I think it's the problem with Zirkzee is I don't really know much about his work ethic privately, but on the pitch, I see him more as a second striker, not a full-blown 9. Because
like
looking,
he describes a 9.5
exactly. So looking at him, he's good with the link-up play. He's good at exchanging passes, giving 1-2s, giving assists, chipping in with goals here and there. I don't see him as a full-blooded 9, properly so-called, as I would describe someone like Sesko. Because when Manchester United purchased Brian Mbeumo, when they purchased Matheus Cunha can play as a winger, also a second striker. Mbeumo, winger, also a second striker, as we saw with Brentford when he played alongside Yohan Wissa. So the problem with United was that they were purchasing players who were not centre forwards. They were not number 9s. We can describe them 9.5s, all of these technical terms. But the truth is that they were not 9. So for him to be playing centre forward in this game, I don't really expect him to be the main source of goals or the main attacking threat. I expect him to help. I expect him to come in with a silky touch here and there and maybe put his teammates through, who will be bombarding down the wing, Ahmad, Cunha, and so on. But as a striker, because even for the national team, there are 2 Dutch strikers on the pitch today, Brian Brobbey and Joshua Zirkzee. Joshua Zirkzee is more of a second striker. Brian Brobbey is physical. He's tenacious. He can hold up play. He can burst through a defender. He can get into a physical battle for 90 minutes, and with just one mistake, just like he did in the Tyne-Wear derby against Newcastle with Dan Burn. He was barging into him, pushing him, and then Dan Burn just gave up one chance and Brian Brobbey scored. That is a 9. That is the Sesko type of player. But Joshua Zirkzee is a completely different animal. But going on to discuss United as a whole, I think in this game they are just the issue is Casemiro's absence. And if that is going to be a problem going to the next season, when Casemiro will not be available for United at all, then it will be an issue, especially since United will be playing 4 tournaments rather than 3.
Wow. This is 97.3 City FM. Discussion has been on, Manchester United. They're taking on Sunderland in this all-important, well, maybe not all-important, but in this fixture, because it will mean nothing to United, whatever the situation is. They're already in Champions League football. But you can share your thoughts with us on 0539 986 996. Yeah, did you see that ball that struck Missy Mount's arm in the box?
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Was that supposed to be a penalty?
Oh no. I mean, his body was turned away from the incoming ball, and his hand was very close to his body. And so once it struck his arm in the penalty box, it would have been super harsh for that to be called as a penalty. Even Italy, even in the Italian Serie A, where the penalty rule is pretty much super clear, and the execution, the way they apply it is done in a ruthless fashion. I doubt even that incident would have been given as a penalty, even in Italy. And so in the English Premier League, where you have a situation where there's more, if I can put it, decorum, there is a bit more nuance attached to the application of the law or of the rule. I seriously doubted that would have been given, and rightly so. It wasn't given because, like I said, his hand was quite close to his body, and it just so happened that his hand was there and the ball happened to travel that way and it struck his hand. So that's a good call from the referee. And still, Man United really, they had a chance to counter-attack, but the pitch, the nature of the pitch is quite slippery, and they missed out on 2 chances to hit out on the counter-attack because both players ended up losing their balance or losing their footing. And so, that was a good chance that went waste. But, they have been under serious pressure. And, I mean, it's not too surprising. It's not too surprising because Kobe touched on the absence of Casemiro. But beyond that, you look at the whole structure of the team, and it looks like it's just Kobe Mainoo who's playing as the sole pivot. And you know the issues that come with playing Kobe Mainoo as a sole pivot, or even playing him as a pivot in the first place. And so that is problematic. It's made them quite unbalanced. And in that sense, that's how come they are not able to retain possession, because there is not enough urgency up front to be able to put pressure on the defense to retrieve the ball. And on top of that, once the Sunderland are able to move beyond Zirkzee, which is very easy because he's slow, heavy-footed, and he doesn't apply that much pressure on the defenders. It makes Man United get outnumbered in midfield because the defenders are Sadiki and Co. Alberte, they are able to move into midfield and outnumber the Man United midfielders. And look, Amad Diallo is a fine player, but I would prefer Brian Mbeumo ahead of him because Brian Mbeumo has that wing back mentality. He plays as a forward, wing forward, but he has that wing back mentality and that athleticism and power to help him play that kind of role. And so even if you are playing Kobe Mainoo as a sole pivot and the guy who is lined up on the right side as an inverted winger is Bryan Mbeumo, you wouldn't give too much space in midfield because you know that he will track back, and on top of that, you know that he will work hard up front and put pressure on the opposing team's defensive line and force them to make mistakes so that there will be some kind of relief in midfield. But you are not getting that from Joshua Zirkzee, and you're also not getting that from Amad Diallo. So you have two problems that you are dealing with on top of Kobe Mainoo's limitations when it comes to playing that sole pivot role. So I'm not surprised that they are getting taken to the cleaners by Sunderland. Not necessarily in terms of super brilliant play, but in terms of application, in terms of intensity,
the simple
in
things.
terms of being able to win the ball or win possession of the opponent. Sunderland are consistently winning balls off Manchester United, but it is not the same for Man United. They struggle to win the ball off Sunderland, and so if I honestly, if a change like that was supposed to be made, I would have expected Michael Carrick to have even shored up that midfield with one of the defenders. You can't put Lisandro Martinez in there because it will make them too small in midfield with Kobe Mainoo and Lisandro Martinez as the midfielders, and Aiden Haven too would have been an option. And so for me, that's what I would have done, as in play Aiden Haven and Kobe Mainoo in midfield and have them show up the midfield a little bit and give them a little bit of a punch. But now the way things are now, Man United
ordinary.
Quite ordinary in midfield. And you look at it, and in the off season, I think Kobe touched on it. In the off season, definitely they'll bring in some reinforcement. I mean, because you know that yes, you're going to be competing in multiple competitions and tournaments, and so you need to have in that defensive midfield role a replacement for Casemiro and a replacement for that replacement. So you need two. You need two defensive midfielders.
I like how you put it.
Yeah, you need two defensive midfielders. You need two defensive midfielders because Kobe Mainoo is not your defensive midfielder, and so in that sense, that's what they do need in the off season. And I've always said a little bit of an upgrade in their wing positions. If they can get an upgrade in either position on the wings defensively, I think they'll be fine. Because now, forward-wise, they are fine. Forward-wise, they are fine. With Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško, Amad, Bruno Fernandes, they are fine. Kobe Mainoo's deep line role playmaking in that position, they are okay. Because even Mason Mount can also play that role. Let's say, Bruno Fernandes can play that role. But it's the DM position, that's where there is an issue. And they do need to really take a good hard look at that position. But Zirkzee, honestly, take out Anthony. Take out Anthony. Take out Anthony. Take out Anthony. And he could end up being the worst
United signing.
My United signing.
Really?
Yes, take out Anthony.
Because I don't see
Zirkzee could end up being the worst. Because what has he done?
United.
No, since he came to Man United, of all time, okay, maybe for the last 10 years.
For the last 10 years. He gets
because the thing is, it's expectation. Obertan and Baby, those guys, the level of expectations weren't that high. But Zirkzee, the level of expectations were high.
My argument.
That's why I'm saying that if you take out Anthony because of the £100 million tag, if you take him out, I can make a serious case that Zirkzee is the worst.
He's worse.
Because he was coming off a season with Bologna, where he helped them qualify to the Champions League. He scored in double figures in the league, got some assists in there, and was sold as this guy who had finally come of age because
a prospect,
he was with Bayern Munich as a youngster, and he had always been touted as one of the next big things. So he finally getting to Bologna and being able to put together that fine season, and he making the move to Man United. Their expectation was that, now he's made the step up, and he's going to justify why he's made a step up because he is that talented. Only for him to, in 2 years, this is his second season.
Yes.
In two seasons, the guy hasn't even scored 8 league goals.
And it's even not about the number of games given him. It's not about it. Because
He hasn't even scored 8 goals in the season, in the league. In just the league, he hasn't even scored eight league goals. That for me, and on top of that, you know me, it goes beyond the numbers.
Absolutely.
Watch the game. He's not winning headers. You are this big. You are 6'3". You are not winning headers. He's jogging on the pitch. He isn't covering space enough. He isn't covering ground enough. Like,
He's not good.
it looks bad. And like I said, if you take out Anthony because of the
Agree.
£100 million
Agree.
tag, trust me, Zirkzee is terrible. Like that transfer worked out very poorly. Okay, now he's put in a good position. Look at that. Just look at it. He's that bad. Look, Man United should cut their losses and let him go. And I always had a big question mark on this guy because I saw him.
Look at this sequence. United wins the ball in Sunderland's area. The ball is given to.
You had 3 players.
And had
You had 3 players.
Area.
Couldn't even beat the first
And he
man.
can't beat the first man.
No,
What skill has he gotten? What's his strength?
See, you have 3 players. 2 immediately on your left. Just square the ball. And you had Mason Mount directly behind you.
Yeah.
You could even
There's
deliver.
no option. He's not thinking.
You could even
in that
deliver
space.
a short cut back.
Oh,
And
easy.
he managed not to pick out any of those options. Nah, he's that bad. Me, I always had my doubts about him because I saw him at Bayern Munich as a 17-year-old, and still he wasn't able to cut it. He bounced around a little bit, and that one season where he showed a little glimpse of progress, the Man United go and splash the cash on him.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting and thinking, like, why don't you give him another season?
You can't
Give him another season.
You can't be 24 and be playing like this.
No, give him another season and check to see if it was just a flash in the pan kind of performance or campaign that season. Because that Bologna team, it was more or less a well-rounded team. And so, in that sense, if he's contributing, that's good. But can he sustain that level of contribution?
No.
I doubted it, especially in a situation where you are coming to Man United and to the EPL, where these days, how many teams even play with 2 men at the top for him to excel in that so-called 9.5 rule? So even from a scheme standpoint, there was a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
And on top of that, yes, you are more or less being misprofiled as a player in the English Premier League. I get it. But how many players have we not seen in the EPL, in other leagues, in other teams, also get misprofiled and get played in positions where you wouldn't necessarily say that those positions are their natural positions? I get it. Not everyone is like a Nico O'Reilly who can play multiple positions. Not everyone is a Mazraoui who can play multiple positions. I get it. But Zirkzee, at least
24 years?
At least show me something.
No, he's not
Apply
showing.
yourself. He's not even applying himself, and he just showed that in that opportunity that he got. You had 3 players, 3 teammates to just give the ball to and make a move into space, run into the penalty
You think
box,
he's not made for this league?
and try to finish off the chance. And you picked out a terrible pass. No, he's not built for this league because this league requires you to work hard. I think he has to go to the Dutch league or the Italian league because those are the leagues where
a bit slower. It fits his.
Yeah, it will fit his style. In the Italian league will fit his style because, like you said, it's a bit slower and they play the game to hit that will fit his style a little bit. And on top of that, the Dutch league, in the sense that the Dutch league, you can afford to play with 2 men up top. So you can thrive in your 9.5 role or support striker role.
Drop in,
Exactly, in that sense. So I look at him, this league, it's not cut for him. It's not cut out for him because per what I've seen, it's not look good so far. Two is a trend. I picked this up from a sports journalist in the States. He works at Fox, called it Coward. He calls it. He says 2 is a trend. One is a coincidence. One off. But 2 is definitely a trend.
That's your behavior.
And 2 seasons. This is the second season. I've seen more than enough.
I have watched Anthony Martial's very young, been told his prospect, and he kept on being a prospect till he left United. Anthony Martial. So if this is repeating itself, it's scary in a season where United has tried everything possible and want to turn things around and all of that. We'll come back and talk about the United the managerial situation. Let's walk through the other fixtures and what's been happening across. Then we'll get back into it. It's halftime in the Premier League, games which started at 2 p.m. Brighton are leading Wolves by 2-0. Fulham, that's 0-0 against AFC. Bournemouth's gotten a red card. And that's Ryan Christie got the red card in that game on the 41st minute. VAR checked that, and then of course it was confirmed. So they're playing 10 against 11. Sunderland are playing a goalless draw at the Stadium of Light against Manchester United. Later is Manchester City at Brentford at 4:30. In La Liga, 25 minutes. Sevilla are playing a goalless draw with Espanyol, and Atletico Madrid will be taking on Celta Vigo later at 4:30. There's Real Sociedad up against Real Betis, also happening at 7 p.m. Then in the German Bundesliga, Augsburg are leading Borussia Mönchengladbach 61 minutes by 2-0. Hoffenheim 1, Werder Bremen 0, Leipzig 2, St. Pauli 0. It's 62 minutes in that game as well. While Stuttgart Bayern Leverkusen are in with the goal. So in Stuttgart 2, Bayern Leverkusen 1. Wolfsburg will be playing Bayern Munich later 4:30. In Italian Serie A, it's 90 minutes. Udinese leading Cagliari by a goal to 0. Buxa got the goal. Buxa got that goal for Udinese at 56 minutes. Lazio will be playing Inter later at 4 p.m. There's Lecce up against Juventus, which start at 6:45. Hello and welcome if you just tuned in. This is 97.3 City FM on 0539 986 996. Your show number for you to send your thoughts and messages on our WhatsApp line 0539 986 996 on our WhatsApp console. Let me get a message from our WhatsApp console. Now I'll check on YouTube if I can get a message from there. So let's do a message and get you involved in that way. Guys, we've gotten a lot to talk about, and of course, we are here to do all of that. But let's say an amazing happy birthday to OJ.
Richard Winson. Our top, one of our top dons in the newsroom, Channel 1 TV, City FM. Richard Mason, big don. Veteran journalist, Richard Mason. Veteran journalist.
OJ, he's a Manchester City fan.
City
would have to win for him today. He says there's a conspiracy theory that Pep wants to help Arteta win the league and say, look, that's my boy. I taught him the job. I helped him win the league as well professionally because I made him competitive as well. So OJ, happy birthday to you. Hopefully City wins against Brentford and keep Arsenal back on their toes. But let's get that message that I promised to just a message, and I'll get back in there. Samuel Edubakwe from Koforedia or Sabene Junction 5 says, good afternoon, City Sports, please. What's going on with the players and Arne Slot? We couldn't beat any of the big teams home or away. Even today, I wanted to sleep before the game ended. Like, I said last week, with this kind of performance, I don't think we can go far next season. You might never know. Football is a different.
But next season, there's bound to be changes ahead of next season. Or there are bound to be changes ahead of next season. Because Mo Salah is leaving, Andrew Robertson is leaving.
Are they going to replace Mo Salah with another signing?
Federico Chiesa likely to leave. Wataru Endo very likely to leave.
Yeah.
So that's how many? 4 players? Yeah.
5 or 4?
4 players.
I've mentioned 4.
players, yeah.
And even Curtis Jones's contract situation is yet to be attended to.
Yeah.
Alisson, I've heard that Juventus are interested in him. So there's also that possibility that he could leave. And you remember the Italian defender they bought?
Giovanni
Leone this
Leone.
season. He got injured. He'll be back. And so it will change. And the thing with Liverpool is that we spoke about it at the start of the season.
Yeah.
When they started struggling. And it's that they do not have the trademark that they had back in the day, which was those the scrappiness, the feistiness.
Yeah.
Now they replaced the likes of Darwin Núñez, those guys with quote unquote flair players. You know, Florian Wirtz, you know, Cody Gakpo, yeah, the way he is. He was there, but at that time he was surrounded by players who were very feisty and very aggressive. So it covered that particular flaw. Now, once you bring in those players, you bring in Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, you lose that bit of bite. And it affects you because guess what?
Mano, I disagree. Yeah.
No, guess what?
Okay.
Because guess what? Liverpool, up until today's game, they had recorded the fewest tackles in the league. Abegu. Up until today's game, between Chelsea and Liverpool, Liverpool had recorded the least or the fewest tackles in the EPL.
That's
And
I don't even know what to use.
You cannot,
surprising.
you cannot win the league. You cannot win top level games when you are not winning balls.
Yeah.
And it's a clear departure from what Arne Slot did in his first season when he won the league. I remember his first game in charge of was it his first or second game? In charge of Liverpool. Jarrell Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
He took him off at halftime. When pressed, they came back and they won the game. When pressed, why he did that change? He said,
When asked,
he said, if you can't win the basics, then there's no discussion of tactics. If you can't win,
that's deep.
If you can't win headers, you can't win challenges, you can't win tackles. Then what are we talking about tactics for?
Yeah.
Because what is the point in talking tactics when you cannot win the ball and have possession?
Yeah.
What can you do? There's nothing you can do. And this season, like I said, coming into this game that they drew with Chelsea, Liverpool had recorded the least or the fewest number of tackles in the EPL. And that's a big no-no.
It's a big problem.
That's a big no-no. You cannot win the league like that. So there will definitely be changes. And that's why the Liverpool board are looking like they are going to retain Arne Slot. Because they see this season as more or less an aberration. And they believe that, okay, he won the league in his first season and he lost to PSG and all in the Champions League. This season, he also lost to PSG in the Champions League knockout phase. So, after spending all that money to bring in those players this season, you need to give them a little bit of time. Okay, so this next season is where they'll be on the lookout to see that, okay, yes, indeed, this season is just an aberration. and that it was down to the fact that you didn't have the players who were fit enough to be able to play the way we did. That got us to win the EPL in your first season. And so next season, or this off season, what I do expect to see from Liverpool is for them to bring in no less than 3 defenders, because already you have Leone, so at least 2 more defenders. At least 2. If they make it 3, it's fine, because take Van Dijk out. Right now, their central defenders, it's just Ibrahima Konate and Joe Gomez. If you take Van Dijk out, it's just Joe Gomez and Ibrahima Konate.
Yeah. And
Joe Gomez, you can't rely on him because of his injury issues. And then you have to look at the Leone, who's returning from an ACL injury. So if you throw him into the fire just like that, it's going to be problematic, very likely. So the best thing to do is to bring in cover. And if you are bringing in cover, that means at least you have to sign at least two players, 2 defenders.
Look, if that's my dad that was giving that amount, I mean, if my relative gave somebody that amount, or my dad gave Annie Slots that amount to go and spend, and he made that mistake, I'm not giving him money again. I'm telling him, sack that guy.
Oh, but the thing
Sack
is,
that guy.
because a lot of players will be, quite a number of players will be leaving, it will clear some money, significant money off their books.
Well,
so they will have some money to be able to go out and spend some money. And maybe they might want to sell 1 or 2 players in that period and be able to raise some money. So I'm looking at a situation where they go out to go get players who are quality. I mean, that's the basic.
great.
Who are quality, but have that, aggressiveness about them, feistiness about them. Because if you do not have it, I don't see how this Annie-Slot style will survive. Because if you don't get a chance to take the ball off your opponent, how can you dominate?
Yeah.
How can you have the composure? And he's about control, having a fine balance between control and structure and rhythm. If you do not have the ball, how can you manage all these things? And that's how come they keep on losing games and throwing away games. This afternoon's game, they shouldn't have lost. It was so clear. They created so many chances. But in the end, they didn't have that rhythm and composure. So when Chelsea started, biting at their heels, tackling harshly, strongly, and winning the ball off them, they were all over the place. And it was during that period that Chelsea got their equalizer. So that has to change.
Okay. 0539-986-996. 0539-986-996. Let's go into some messages. I'll come back and we'll talk about Kwachi. I see you with the expression on your face about that's red card. Going in 2-footed. I think it's so wrong. And a manager prepping to just go on the break and regroup, and then a centre half decides to misbehave. 0539-986-996. I'm talking about the Fulham and AFC Bournemouth game. Let's have your say on 0539-986-996 on our WhatsApp lines, and of course on YouTube. Leave your comments in there. I'll be reading them. Let me start with a YouTube comment. And Raymond Decoder, Raymond, I see your message as the first person who commented on Republic of Football today. Abeku, has anybody bothered to find out how Razaka Balora is faring, as we need a strong goalkeeping department? You know what? We'll fetch more from the Black Star stuff for you. I know you are a passionate Ghanaian. Authentic BBF says Man United are playing like they are a small team. DJ Zlatan 1GH says, who should motivate? I think he's talking about Zirkzee. Who should motivate him to play well for his own career? Today, United first half performance has been worse. The worst I've ever seen since United was founded. OMG Bellman, don't say this.
That's not even close to true.
When they 4-0 down at Brentford?
Look,
United
has lost games 7-0 in recent years. You lost to Liverpool 7-0.
First half.
First half.
Did
But
you say first half?
that first half against Liverpool was awful. I think
Yeah,
by
it's
the
the
by
first
the
half.
end of the first half, we were down 3-0.
He can't even hold on to the ball.
Yeah, that's sexy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he can't even hold on to the ball.
Now you listen. There's a message for Zirkzee. You just mentioned it. Danilo Plaka says Zirkzee is not a bad player. He just lacks confidence and motivation. Okay, he comes back and repeats that message. But look, I promise you, Zirkzee needs no motivation. The motivation is you playing, wearing that shirt,
Yeah, yeah.
and having numbers behind you at Old Trafford,
Motivation
calling your name and singing.
for
If you don't know, ask
for you-
Casemiro.
for the career that you choose.
Yeah. Casemiro became confused when he had already made it public that he says he's leaving, and then he comes back, and then the United faithfuls are singing his name and saying 1 more year, and the big man is crying. Well, talk about crying. It's a bit iconic with the Brazilians because they are passionate about their game. I've seen David Luiz cry, but I mean that's fine. That's the topic for the day. This paradise, Chelsea only once for European football is to win the FA Cup, and I hope they can do. What I want to get impossible. I think Chelsea's only chance.
Yeah.
Is for only chance for European football is to win the FA Cup, and I hope they can do that.
Did you just see what Zirkzee did? The ball came into him, and he more or less just stood there and let it be taken off of him.
I think the Zirkzee party is getting a little.
The Zirkzee party is getting
a
extended.
little too.
No, but
Let's calm down.
as we are talking about,
footballer who has just been misprofiled, and so far at United he hasn't been able to show his best.
So if you've
Right.
not been able to show your best, what are you?
I said he's been misprofiled.
No,
but if you agree, this man is nice.
No, the thing
if
is
you
that
don't go to your back.
even if
Okay, you've been misprofiled, but at least hold on to the ball.
What is your quality?
do something, because the thing is that if you are
That's my issue. Yes, okay, you've been misprofiled, but you just saw him lose the ball when all he had to do was to hold that play. He couldn't hold that play. You saw him give the ball away to the opponent when he was under no pressure to do so and had multiple teammates right next to him.
Yeah, that's not his first time in the game.
and that's not misprofile. The thing is that even if he's a 9.5 or a second striker, we should see it here. We should see him dropping deep and then giving passes to the
Because that's what he says he
wingers
is.
and all. Because you said that's what your strong suit is.
I mean, are we going
Yeah,
to ignore that?
okay, yes, he just did that fine.
Oh, how many?
But
But
how many
times?
times?
How
How
many
many
times?
times?
in the game? This is 48
How many
minutes
times?
from you know the
pretty
second
sure
half.
that's fast completion of
If you
80%.
say that what we are asking you to do is not your strong suit, we should at least see you
something.
doing something that you are good at in the game. Because we've seen you for a whole 45 minutes in this match.
When I saw him first, just like I said about Jackson when I saw him first, I felt Jackson was a very good player, but because of the expectations of Chelsea, he would have fitted in that Chelsea squad. Look at his number of goals and the number of minutes he played and all of that. But I checked the number of minutes Zirkzee has, and he's in the same age as Jackson, isn't he? 24, that range.
Yeah.
You know, and he does that. I feel he's a rapper. Look, I think he's just a party boy.
That's unfair. And that's
No,
why
no,
I feel like a lot of the black people
don't.
get that.
Say again.
A lot of the black players get that a lot. When they enjoy themselves, they party a bit, and it's almost like they like life more than
Look,
they
if
like.
you're not good, you're not
like
partying.
football.
Why are you partying?
You know, that's the thing. A lot of the players these days, they've forgotten about the fundamentals, because nobody would care that you were going to parties if you weren't a professional footballer. So you have to focus more on being a professional footballer.
Even for almighty Ronaldinho, and I said that with my full chest.
Okay.
When he decided to party at PSG, his first pro bigger football club, he went down in performance.
Yeah.
Ronaldinho. And that time he was younger. He had won the World Cup and all of that. But still, he was not able to, because he chose party at the point. You know, so this party issue there, I just know this guy is a rapper. Let's not go into that. Let me pick a bit of messages from our WhatsApp. Jay from Cove City says, Zirkzee is giving us B-strap KOTM. I don't know what is that about. He said he's too relaxed. Yeah, he's too relaxed. Maybe that's the
I think it's a
vibe.
reference to your rapper comments. But I mean, like I keep saying, I think people are just being unfair. His problem is
Did you see that?
he tries to control
A
the ball.
proper striker is back killing that. Watch Didier Drogba. I've watched Javier Hernandez, Chicharito. You know your position.
My point is, he's one, and it happens to some players. He's just one of those players when he looks a little unbalanced when things are not going well. He looks ungainly, and it comes from the point that he's supposed to be this 6'3" guy who's supposed to be, how do you call it, second striker. And usually it should be the reverse. How do you call it, the big striker should be like 6'5".
Not the 9.5 or what.
And even this 9.5, I feel like it's slightly a dig. It's almost like we can't directly find out where we should place you, because I wouldn't compare him to someone like Antoine Griezmann, who played in that role, and before the last World Cup when he was moving to midfield.
Who is his role model? Can you check that for us?
Joshua Zirkzee.
Yeah.
I
Do that. Let me
But you know, even the 9.5 is not a dig. It's something he said himself. Oh?
Yeah.
It's something he said
But
himself.
he cannot even live up to the 9.5.
Yes, that's for me. I think people begin to give these technical terms and these explanations when they are not really good at what they are supposed to do. Because Gabriel Jesus, as someone who wears the number 9 shirt, he's come out in an interview and said that scoring goals is not his forte.
He said it's not his biggest strength.
Yes. And you're a striker.
Yeah.
So, sometimes people come and they just say things so that we'll excuse them, because now football has become very technical and the positions are specialized and so on.
Not to go back, but there was Roberto Firmino.
Yes.
There was
But he
someone who
became
had
but he was also, but Firmino was a goal scorer.
Firmino
Became
can't
better
score goals,
under-
but we can
under
all
Jurgen
agree that
Klopp.
Firmino's, no, I'm just going back to the point, but Firmino's biggest strength is not his goal scoring.
Okay.
He's a good finisher. He's a technical player, but his
Yes.
strength is not his finishing.
Okay.
And that is where the problem with someone like Zirkzee comes in. Like, it's almost like you were saying, if you could show your other attributes on the pitch.
He's not on
less people
Firmino's
would be
level.
worried.
The example you want
Oh,
to
no,
quote
he's not on
No,
Firmino's level.
but the thing is that even the things he's good at, is he doing them on the pitch?
Yeah, that's
The
what
things
But
that
he's saying, like, you should show your the other attributes that we are referring to.
And what is that? What are the attributes?
I mean, your hold up play, your ability to spot a pass.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you, at the end of the day you had that opportunity, and one of your biggest qualities is your ability to spot a pass, and you couldn't spot 3 of your teammates
Wonderful.
right next to you, then what are you
You are
doing?
slow in the
It's
Premier League.
different.
You can't play.
But just to go back to the France example, I think it would have looked really different if Griezmann was playing on his own and not with Giroud.
All the examples you are citing, he's nowhere close to such
It's
players.
not-
Even with the
It's not
roles
about
they
the- it's not
define
about the level. I'm
themselves
just talking
in.
about how Griezmann needed Giroud at that World Cup to, how do you call it?
So you think he
to
needs
function.
somebody? Maybe a Wayne Rooney if Wayne Rooney was playing? Because when Rooney was doing that 9.5, Rooney was that 9.5 proper. Drops a little deeper, playing as if he's a 10, but he's not a 10. Trying to feed Ronaldo in with balls, occasionally Nani.
I think he could play well with Šeško. If it's something Muhammad is doing, because I think he could play well with Šeško, but that would mean you'd have to drop either Mbeumo or Cunha. And
Didn't
Kwame-
Amorim try that? Didn't Amorim try that at some point when he was?
Amorim was using
when he
3
was
back.
play-
He was
Was using no, but if you have so
It's a
what they
3-5
should go back.
three-
You should play
three-
4-4-2.
3-4-3.
3-4-3. Yes, but he was one of the 2 10s behind Šeško.
I think at some point it was like a 3-5-2, but Bruno was still playing as an 8. There were
See,
different problems with that system.
Let's,
That's
let's,
why
let's see
it
what
didn't
people
work.
think.
Yeah.
From what you're talking about. Kwame Frabokobi says player shy, and you are saying you are saying misprofiled.
Plenty explanations, but
There are no player shy. Okay, Ramirez says today the referee still the match between the Liverpool and Chelsea game. For who Ramirez? Let us know. Good afternoon, City Sports. I'm David from Spintex. I think at this point I would take Kukayera as my left wing ahead of Garnacho. He needs we need new forward lines next season. We could have won if we had at least 2 quality attacking players on the bench. From Man Sakara inside Nungwa says Liverpool's problem is not slot. Liverpool's problem is our defensive midfield position. Our DM position is weak and it's exposing our defenders. Gravenberch is not a DM. We need physicality in the middle.
But Gravenberch looked wonderful last season.
And
People were singing his praises.
I kept making that point.
just
that
a season
Gravenberch in
ago.
particular, he looked really good, but he was never meant for that position. And the problem was once they didn't get Caicedo and they got Endo, they they settled for what they had, and they've never, at least in terms of that position, because they were going to spend 100 billion on Caicedo, which means they've identified that they have a
Nelson
problem.
has gotten the question I want to ask from what you're trying to analyze. Nelson says, Abeku, who signs the players at Liverpool? How can you say Slot was given the money when they have a director of football? Look, these people you mentioned work together.
Yes.
They work together, and let us get that once and for all.
And but
Sporting directors of football, and Mitoma scored. No, he's pulled something. It's bad. Oh, that's a Brighton and Wolves game, and Mitoma plays for Brighton and Hove Albion, and he's down. But my point is that let's get that together. The sporting director, the director of football, whoever is in charge of transfers, or who's a scout and the coach, all of these people sit and discuss their projections for the next foreseeable future for the club, and wait for the next transfer. Begin talks. But one person will have to lead, but there are talks. But in some clubs, it's a different scenario. For example, Manchester City, where the coach has a lot of power. If he says, I want this guy, and there's that time, even, what's the name? Tiki or somebody, trying to say no, he still sticks that I know what I want and all of that. But now, things are changing. Slot is aware the kind of players he's giving, my brother. Don't get it twisted. Let me wrap up with the messages, and then we'll get back to talk. But I love what's happening in the United game. Zirkzee seems to be proving us right. Raymond, Decoder Inside Time comes first. Good afternoon. Slot won the English Premier League on a silver platter, and this time for him, and there's a time for him to show his potential. He's rather sluggish. He adds. Okay, so Ramirez says the Chelsea goal, he feels that the referee wasn't fair. All right, that's fine. These are messages on our WhatsApp line on 0539986996. Let's get back on board. It's 59 minutes in that game between Brighton and Wolves. Brighton leading by 2-0. Now, you saw the Mitoma situation, and you're worried. Should we be worried indeed?
Well, I think Japan should be worried because he's one of their top players. And heading into the World Cup, you want all your best players to be available. And he's had a bad run with injuries, I think, over the past 2 seasons, season and a half. And he's not been able to really kick on from the time he burst onto the scene. He was dribbling past everybody. Yeah. He was very much profiled on every football show. I remember he had a lot. Brighton Hove Albion had quite a number of offers, and they rejected them, even to the extent that up until even last season, there was significant interest from a Saudi team. They wanted him for 80 million, and 90 million euros. And Brighton Hove Albion turned it down. I thought at that point it was crazy for them to pull off such a stunt or such a move.
I agree.
And I've been proven right, because he's never been the same. And Brighton Hove Albion, they've missed out on some significant cash, because all they needed to do was to just ship him off to one of those Saudi leagues, and they would have absolutely embraced.
Oh, he's 28
embraced
now.
It. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, he meets the quota. I mean, he's Asian, so he'll meet the quota. He wouldn't count against the foreign players quota in any team. And on top of that, he is quality for those teams in that particular region. Even if his form has dipped now, and he's no longer one of the best players in the English Premier League, if he moves over to the Asian Champions League or AFC, that side, he is one of the best players. And I honestly believe that Brighton Hove Albion missed out on a very good sale value in they not selling him to the Saudi club. And on top of that, is aside, they missing out on selling Evan Ferguson to Man United or to other interested teams for 80 up to 100 million pounds when he burst onto the scene. 2 seasons later, he's also had some major injuries, and now his value has absolutely created. He went to AS Roma, and nothing has come of that move. And so I look at Mitoma. I don't think Brighton Hove Albion will be too worried, because they do have options, and they've been able to deal with playing without Mitoma, like I said, over the past season and a half. And it's rather Japan that should worry, because the World Cup is coming up, and yeah, Mitoma is a quality player, and so you definitely need him. So they should be the ones who are worried. But yeah, I mean, a hamstring with a 4 month before the World Cup, I think he can recover.
Okay.
I think he can recover.
Elsewhere, FC Bournemouth lead 0-1 after a superb strike from Ryan teed up Smith in a moment after Ellie rattled the crossbar. It's 10v10, you know, because at halftime, I mean, I want to come to you, so I'm putting this out. Red cards for Christie and Anderson. What really transpired, man? Walk us through.
Yeah, no, so early in the game for Bournemouth, I think Ryan Christie went in for a tackle, and I think the replays looked much worse than the tackle actually was. But the referee decided to give a red card, and later in the game, for Fulham, is it Anderson?
Anderson.
He also went in for a similarly mistimed tackle. I think his was 2-footed. His saving factor is he actually got some of the ball. So in his defense, he think that he was originally given both in both situations the referee gave a yellow card and was then and then went back to VAR to give a red card. And I think if the first one hadn't been given, the second one isn't given. But once you give the first one, you have to give the second one. And unfortunately, both teams decided to have a player make a silly tackle, and they reduced a man down. I think sometimes, I don't know how much of a difference it makes on the pitch having one less player for each team. There's obviously going to be a little more space, but it depends on how it affects them. For Bournemouth, I think that would be an attacking capacity, and for Fulham, that's in a defensive capacity. So I think you can also, that probably also explains why Bournemouth have been able to adjust better than Fulham in this case.
Well, 0539986996 on our WhatsApp line. Our messages in our live chat. We're reading them on YouTube. Keep them coming in. You're watching us on TV, use the number 0539986996 and let us do more talking in here. That's a strike against United again in the second half, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they just look unsettled, and like we keep saying, there are just a lot of different
62
faces.
minutes, you still look unsettled.
There are just a lot of different faces who have coming, and it's just creating a little lack of cohesion in the team. But I think if you look at the shot from Robbie got a ball inside the box. I think he could have done a little better. I think he could have done a little better. Maguire put him under pressure, but I think he could have done a little better. Just to go back to the Arne Slot point, and I think generally in football right now, I think that's one of the biggest struggles that you've noticed. Like in the post Alex Ferguson era, I think initially what everyone wanted was like what we said, like that Sir Alex Ferguson type manager who comes in, who handles everything. And then I think I noticed more and more clubs, even Chelsea, are trying to move away from like what you were talking about, the one manager who controls everything and the signings come through them. But I keep making this point that if you look at all the success that teams are having right now, the success are being had by teams who have like managers. PSG success recently, Man City in the Premier League, even Arsenal's rise under Arteta. The number of different things that have to come together for everything to work in sequence, like in a football team, it takes a lot. And obviously, the better your recruitment, the better chance of you, getting better players. Yeah. But I think you've noticed that it doesn't always necessarily translate. We've seen that a lot with the sporting directors. How do you call it? I'm forgetting his name, but the Sevilla sporting director, Monchi, he hasn't had success outside of Sevilla. Whenever he tried going to Roma, he's been to other clubs, but he's never been able to be successful. You saw the same thing with Mitchell. I think when he left, even though he didn't get much of an opportunity at Man United, you saw this one. He wasn't able to do the same thing. United are doing well now, but Barada hasn't been able to bring the same success that he had for Man City. These things are dependent on a lot of things going together. Even with Brighton, they've struggled a bit with, I think, with moving coaches on. Potter is doing well now, and I think the Zerbi too has a reputation. But Brighton themselves, just because of how many things have to work well now, sometimes when you transplant these players into different situations, sometimes it takes a while. Even with Caicedo, when he moved from Brighton to Chelsea, it took a while for him to settle. Sometimes things are built and set up for for these clubs, for these managers, that when they are not, they struggle a bit. To relate that back to Arne Slot, I don't think Arne Slot is the caliber of manager who you give that to. Just to be blunt, I think he's showing that this season. Obviously, maybe he's not solely responsible for how they call it, for all the players who came in. But like you said, we know how these things work.
Yeah.
And the way more often than not works is that manager goes and says, I need this type of player, or I need this. Can you get this, so and so for me? And then other people come in with their, oh, maybe we don't need, maybe we need it. But the person who more often than not instigates is probably the manager.
Yeah.
And the person who is going to, and that's another point that some managers make. You can't be in a team where they bring players for you and you coach them and you're just like,
that's
hey,
Chelsea.
Okay.
That's a Chelsea situation.
You can't be a successful manager who wants to have his own impact on the team. So for me to believe that Arne Slot was sitting somewhere hanging around in Amsterdam and they were just bringing players to Liverpool for him when he came back and came to coach them, I struggle to believe that. He either had a choice, like an impact in the decision being made, or the decision could not have been made if he did not want the decision to be made. And that's where the responsibility for him comes in, where you've had this, it come and it hasn't worked. The thing that surprises me is what's probably going to happen next season is they have the same problem. They start the season, it doesn't start well, and then they sack him. And then you're in a problem where you, like United now, where you almost have to forgo an entire season and try and see what you can save or what you can salvage before you plan again. Whereas you have the whole summer to make decisions, and that's why I hope that Liverpool don't make the same mistake that other clubs have been making. Even Real Madrid, because Real Madrid are now also struggling. This head coach thing is not working for them, and that's why they are also realizing they need a manager. They need someone who can come in.
And they have now realized they need a manager with an ego bigger than the players.
And I like people are talking about the Mourinho, but I think the Deschamps move from maybe getting him to Real Madrid could be incredible, because he has
after the World Cup.
Yeah, after the World Cup, because he has that proper, like, I mean, obviously France is not as egotistic, it's different. As big as Mbappe is, I don't think he'll behave the same way for the national team. But how do you call it? But I think he has a different element. Like Mourinho has the touchiness and I think he could cause a fight in 3 months. I think the whole place.
If you allow him to do what he wants, he's not fighting.
Especially if he goes there and someone like Mbappe is challenging him, or that one or two.
He'll put him in order.
There could be a lot that could happen within Real Madrid, and that's why I'm not sure if Mourinho is a guy. But just to relate back to the point, most of the successes that are happening by teams are happening by teams who have managers, and I don't know if because the players are more afraid of managers than they are of coaches. But I think that's something that Liverpool themselves also need to look at going forward. And like I keep saying, I don't think Arne Slot is necessarily the caliber of manager that can do that for them. Hold
on a minute, and I laugh because of how United play. It's so funny. Like it's like, but why is the manager subbing Zirkzee? We've said a lot about Zirkzee. Subs Zirkzee and then introduces Patrick Dogu. Is he trying to give minutes to players or what, Kobe? People have also spoken about Starts Atwell, the referee that officiated the Ghana-Austria game, the friendly. Yeah, Ghana-Austria or Ghana-Germany? Is it Ghana-Germany, Ghana-Austria? Let's check that. Ghana-Germany, right? And they say the referee's not been excellent enough.
In this game?
Yeah.
Sunderland, honestly, I haven't seen any...
We're talking about the Liverpool-Chelsea game.
I mean, I saw that message, but I've seen messages also on the referee for the United game.
For the United, honestly, I haven't seen... I mean, nothing has really stood out to me. I think he's done what he's supposed to do.
I think it was in relation to the
penalty issue. I think,
and certain tackles, they feel he's kept the card in his pocket. But I mean, if you think that the referee is not, done anything, against the,
I think it's purely down to opinion.
The sub of the manager wanting to give players an opportunity because we're already Champions League football. What is there to worry about? And United is not having that sharpness up front.
Yeah, I think this will be particularly beneficial for Patrick Dogu because he's recently come back from a long-term injury, got some minutes against Liverpool, also getting the opportunity to play again against Sunderland. For him, he needs to be eased back into the system. I mean, he was an important part of what Carrick was doing at the beginning of his tenure. Unfortunately, the form was curtailed by that injury. But he's come back against Liverpool. He looked all right. I hope he plays well here as well. As for Zirkzee, we've spoken at length about his performance, and he hasn't given us much to be happy about. He has given us very little to write home about. So he's been taken off as expected, and Patrick Dogo has come on. I mean, definitely not to play the same role. I believe Mateus
United
Cunha
has hit no shot on target.
I believe Mateus Cunha will take over that 9 spot for the game, and I think it will serve us better. Yes, I think
Dogu is on the
left
side.
Yes.
On the left side, playing as a winger. Where Mateus Cunha was before that substitution was made. So now Cunha is through the middle. Is playing through the middle.
Yeah.
Wow. And the ball went into the post. I think Sunderland has not just been lucky against Manchester United, because they've played better. They've shot more,
far better.
They've had more shots.
More shots, created more chances, had more possession, played a better game all around. But at the end of the day, in football, the only statistic that matters in a game is the number of goals scored. And if United can find a way to score in this game and prevent, look at this.
No, it's not a penalty. I think a player was just smartly wanting to win that, but the referee was just right there. But as I was saying, I think if United can manage to hit the back of the net before the end of the game and keep Sunderland out, because that's been a huge issue in this game. United have not been able to prevent Sunderland from creating chances. But if luck is on your side, if St. Laurens makes the saves, and if they hit the post a couple of times, and United is able to get the 3 points, I'll be a very happy man. Wow. That's a story for another day. We'll live to see if it happens. At 73 minutes, it's Brighton 2, Wolves 0. Bournemouth are still leading Fulham by a goal to 0 in 66 minutes. They are playing 10v10. The situation, Manuel, spoke about that, right? You spoke about the 10v10 situation. Red card.
Great. And the situation hasn't changed over there. Bournemouth still have the lead. Against Fulham.
Wolves are relegated.
I think Bournemouth have had a really good ending to their season. We mentioned how patchy they've been in spells, and again, like, it's surprising to me how they lose their best players. Sunderland had a wonderful attack there. They should have. I think it just required the right point. It was a 3-on-2 situation against the defenders. If the right pass had been made, I think they were through, but unfortunately they couldn't.
That should have been the foul, isn't it? The ball went into the arm of the player. Cunha was tackling. The United game.
But technically the rule states if it goes from one part of your body to another, it shouldn't be a foul. So if
I don't get to understand this offside stuff. This handball rules, handball situation. It's crazy.
I think the problem with the handball rule is just its intent. That's the most important thing in handball.
And you can't
tell. Yeah, but no one can tell intent. No one can tell if you meant to handle the ball or if it was had it gone disingenuous.
Yeah, you close your eyes to that incident. Was that really a foul? Who was brought? Is it Broby? You will have an opportunity to watch this again. Look, he tries to go past one man, and then no, not this one. This is the ball. Broby's pass, which when it was struck, went into the post. But I'm talking about the free kick where who is that? I'm trying to figure out a player who go into that space to get that free kick for Sunderland. I think it's the defender Gertruda who gets into that space and intelligently wins the ball for Sunderland. Is this dangerous? They've had shots on target,
Oh yes, they've had shots on target. Man United so far have dealt with it, including the one they just effected. Granit Xhaka was targeting Brian Broby, who was on the run. An east winger, and it was a good move, a good idea, well executed from Granit Xhaka's part. But Brian Broby didn't time his run. I think he jumped before the ball got to him. And so instead of steering the ball towards goal, he ended up steering the ball away from goal because his timing was wrong. And the time that he was up in the air, the ball was slightly behind him. And so he ended up heading the ball away from goal, which is quite disappointing because Granit Xhaka's pass was very good. It was right on the money. He delivered it, hit Brian Broby in stride. It's just that Broby couldn't adjust himself properly to ensure that he'll be able to direct that ball into the net. So yeah, good chance that has been wasted by Manchester United, but by Sunderland. But now they will have to defend this corner kick off Patrick Dogu's attempted cross into the box.
And we'll see who is limping.
Lucio, sorry.
Yeah.
That's the problem playing Dogu on that side. Because I promise you that 10 out of 10, anybody who is a winger would have tried to beat their man in that situation. Rather than trying to put in a cross from where he was. Because I think he was much further behind. What you'd have done, maybe try and at least push the ball ahead. Don't even be and just get the cross in. But he did really well initially when he came. I think he got the winner against Man City when around the beginning of Carrick's tenure. But I don't know.
Before he got injured.
Yeah, I don't. With the level of quality they have, I'm surprised that he had the quality. He's being used as a forward option.
In 75 minutes, United has gotten a corner against Sunderland. It hits it long, gets into the box. Goalkeeper punches that out. United still looking for options, and the captain will try and warm it up for Luke Shaw, who is looking for spaces in the box, but is flicked out. United is still in the mood of looking for options. We'll see how that ends. The introduction of Brian Mbomo, Kobe, you spoke. I mean, you know, he's maybe shining brother 4.
A fellow shining brother.
A fellow shining brother comes into the game. You feel he's the guy to bring that spark United needs in this game. I know you are going to defend your shining brother, but you have to do this professionally today.
I really hope he does. Honestly, United need a goal. They need to establish some form of control over the game. I think at this point in time, it's probably too late for that, but they need a goal. And Brian Mbumo is a man who can provide a goal. As to whether it will be him or whether he will play a role, I'm not sure. So, I mean, he's just come on. He hasn't really had much of the ball, but if United can create some chances, it will definitely bode well. But so far, it's been more of the same. Sunderland have more of the ball, creating more chances. That hasn't really changed since the beginning of the game. But I do hope that Brian Mbumo steps in and does something.
0539869996. Sabia has just gotten a goal in the Spanish La Liga, leading Espanyol by goal to 0. So
I think that should take them out of the relegation zone. I think they were 2 points behind.
Sanchez got a goal.
Was it Levante?
Alaves.
VR is checking it. VR is checking it.
Was Alaves? Yeah, I think they were 2 points behind.
Well, VR is checking it. We'll have to hold on for a minute. Let's see what transpires from that. When VR is done with the check, we'll confirm that check is still pending. But I mean, goal disallowed. Goal disallowed. So what does this mean again on the live table? What does it mean?
I don't know if you've seen a pattern, but across like 4 leagues. So in Serie A, it's probably Fiorentina. In La Liga, it would be Sevilla. The Premier League is Spurs. There's been if you see what I mean, there's been a lot of I don't know if
but
it's
they've got 40 points now from where they are. Sevilla.
So where does the draw take them on the table?
Oh, there's 12 now. No, they've been trying to lift themselves. I understand Deportivo Alaves, who are 18th, have 37 points.
Yeah.
So I mean, plus minus is a draw. So as it stands now in the live table, and then that's 40 points.
So that's 40. So they get 3. They're just 2 points above Alaves, and that.
Yeah. In that order.
Yeah, but there's been a few teams that have had a few relegation scares this season, big teams. So I think they probably need to be careful. Every other team needs to be careful.
No. They are 17th because the goal was
shocked up.
So 38 now as it stands.
So it's back to the 30.
Yeah. So they
are a
move
point ahead.
down. Yeah. Points ahead. Deportivo Alaves who've got 37 points. So that's what it means on the live table for Sevilla. So the situation you discussed, the Spursy one.
Yeah, they are too big to go down. I mean, Unai Emery makes another Europa League final and Sevilla go down. The irony of the day. I think they'll probably survive. But like I keep saying, you can't assume that I think people assume that at least safety is always there. We always aim for Europe. And I think if you don't get your recruitment right or you make 1 or 2 wrong decisions, relegation can come. And then from relegation, it's also then not guaranteed that you come straight back up to the league.
Yeah, if you don't know, try and find out from
Leicester. Well, surprisingly, I think I'd have probably backed Ipswich to be relegated again and Leicester to come back up. Leicester.
Some few days ago, it was 10 years since they won the.
Yeah, 10 years ago since they won the Premier League. I think it's about 5 since they won the FA Cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that.
They were in League One.
Life comes at you fast.
Yeah, you know.
Still,
Let's.
Still think they should have made the champions. Although the year where they and United were supposed to be in the Champions League, they missed out on the last day and United chicken. I just think that could have. They haven't made. I don't think they've made the Champions League since the season after they won the Premier League, and even that year they made it to the quarterfinals and they were knocked out by Atletico Madrid. So I'm wondering. That could have changed their financial situation because there's also finances that were because in the Premier League, I think they got hit with the point deduction. And that's what's contributed to their relegation from how they call it from the Championship. If they had a bit more money, they wouldn't have been hit to the point. Like it's a few things could have worked out differently for Leicester. So it's just unfortunate for them.
Let's do a quick break here. We'll get back in studio. And hold on. So is Dogo playing as a striker now?
To Wingo.
Inverted.
Yeah. I mean,
Not inverted.
Not even inverted.
Look at him.
Inverted. That's what I'm saying.
Where he is tackling the goalkeeper and all of that. Guys, let's go for a break. We'll come back and talk about that situation. Just 97.3 CDFL. So sorry now. Let me go for the break.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to touch on the mistake that the Sunderland keeper almost made, but it's fine.
Let me get back from the break.
The referee bailed him out a little bit.
We'll talk. This 97.3 CTFL is the Republic of Football. We'll be back. Republic of Football. This is the Republic of Football. And this is the Republic of Football. Latest updates from Europe. Games currently ongoing. 3 of them in the greatest league on planet Earth, the Premier League. Later at 4:30, we'll be inviting your thoughts on telephone. Manchester City will be kickstarting their game as well. lot more to talk about on your amazing network. Thoughts are welcomed on 0539986996. 0539986996. It's AFC. It's Brighton 3, Wolves 0. Brighton getting the goal through a player Yao Minta loves most, scored Minte. He gets the third goal in the 86th minutes for this amazing club, Brighton and Hove Albion, who actually believes they've done well this season. In the German Bundesliga, games are done. The batch of games that started is over. Hoffenheim 1, Werder Bremen 0, Leipzig 2, St. Pauli 1, Stuttgart 3, Bayern Leverkusen 1. Later, 4:30 is Wolfsburg up against Bayern Munich. In the Italian Serie A, Udinese finished that game against Cagliari, beating them by 2-1. At 4 is Lazio Inter, Lecce Juve at 6:45. Let's talk about Minte and, of course, that opportunity, that situation I wanted to describe. Espanyol just scored one just before I left Spain. Espanyol has just scored in that game against Sabia. So, Kwachis, not prophecy, but analysis. Or what he said, he doesn't love seeing them seem to be happy or seem to want to happen. Dolan scored that goal for Espanyol, and if he stays like this, we are talking about a relegation scare and all of that. But Kwachi, you hold on there because you mentioned that earlier. Let me come to you for that situation you had wanted to describe with the goalkeeper of Sunderland before we went on the break.
Also, I mean, they didn't concede a goal from that near mistake.
Mm-hmm.
He, like I said, he got built up by the ref because that infringement call against Man United was quite soft. Oh wow, that should be a red card.
That's a red card.
Because
So
Bruno made a pass,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a full second in between the pass being made and I believe Angulo sticking out his hand and catching Bruno's face with his elbow. That should be a red
You can
card.
see the motion. With
Yes,
his hand.
and it looked like he was intentional about it. Yeah, and he swung it in the direction of Bruno's face. It's not a situation where his hand was still or stationary and Bruno just ran into his body and got caught in the face with his arm. So yeah, I think this should be a red card because he made an attempt or he leaned in with his arm. And even in aerial challenges, we've seen players get red carded when they lean in with their forearm.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, he was running on the turf. The
It
ball was
unnecessary.
the ball was released, and then he extended his arm towards the face of Bruno.
It's unnecessary.
For me, this should be straightforward. They shouldn't waste. Oh, what? Nothing? Wow, this is very shocking. They couldn't. Did it? No.
This in the Champions League would have been a red card.
Yeah.
The VR doesn't seem to want to get involved.
Yeah, and because the referee didn't whistle. So if the referee didn't whistle and the VR doesn't want to get involved, that's a bit of a shock because it's only when the referee whistles and the VAR comes in, then you go like, oh, okay, maybe the referee you might want to come and watch it, or have a second look, and whether you're going to stick with your decision or you're going to change it. But in this case, nothing. So far, wow, that's shocking. That's very shocking. Very, very shocking. Because this was so clear. Or maybe Bruno Fernandes' reputation of being quote unquote a crybaby.
Oh no, I think.
I mean, you know, it plays a role. They do factor in those things. Like, okay, this guy, does he have a history,
track record
track record of
simulation.
diving, simulation, those things?
Yeah,
So,
it plays a
I mean,
role,
no, but
but then
it's
the
a-
video assistant referee will definitely
I mean, I get that, but
see it.
this was clear and obvious. It's almost like once someone is shot, you say, does he have a history of being shot? Like,
Yeah,
not
no,
necessarily. And he's actually been hit, regardless of his reputation or not. There's clear evidence that he has been hit. So I don't know why that would factor in. I don't know
this
why it
particular
should factor in.
situation.
Maybe it does because of the Premier League referees and whatever happens in their VAR room. But how do you call it? It shouldn't play any factor in.
Yeah.
What do you call it, in Fernandes? Because clearly you can see him raising his hand and then making the motion towards Bruno's face.
What I dislike is when they are done with the game.
Okay,
then
this
they
should
go,
be a goal. Oh no, okay.
no, Cunha has
You missed it,
overcomplicated
you
it.
missed it.
Oh.
You missed it.
Can you believe it?
What is that?
Just overcomplicating it.
That's
Why do
the
you
difference
chop back?
between Man United and PSG.
This is it.
PSG had
A
a similar
situation.
two chances in both legs, and they scored from both
It's
positions.
Due or Dembele. This is a goal.
Yeah,
Immediate shot with the left.
Yeah.
the PSG scored in the first leg against Bayern Munich from a similar position.
Yeah.
They scored in the second leg against Bayern Munich from a similar position.
And they are going to score against us now in a similar position.
We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
mean,
it's
it's-
what 30th May, so
Yes,
there's more than enough time to.
That's Calafiori's area, right? Or Ben White.
No, that would be
would
Calafiori.
I mean Calafiori.
Over there,
On the right is Calafiori.
No, I'm talking
on the
about
left
as
is
in once the
Ben
ball
White.
was crossed.
Yeah.
That's Calafiori's
That's
area.
Calafiori's
Yeah,
area.
on the left side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see.
But on the right side, I mean, it's either Urin Timber or Ben White.
Hopefully Timber will be fit.
Well. It's 4 minutes. I don't know. We've played two of the Sunderland. If Brobe is a clinical striker, I think he should be having 2 goals.
Yeah. He had 2 very good chances and he messed them up. Especially the first one. Very, very, very big chance.
Look
What
at
is
this.
he? Oh, that's a poor finish.
Cunha.
He just shot straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Very, very poor.
Maybe you'll get another opportunity. Pen? No.
Hey, penalty.
This referee.
Yeah.
What?
No,
That's a
no,
yellow
it's
card.
not
for
yellow card.
diving. Yellow for diving. Oh no.
No, diving. You wanted to trick the referee.
You got up expecting to be given a penalty.
Let's watch it again. He he turns.
Oh no.
That's not it.
That's a dive. You should be ashamed of himself. Look at
Yeah.
it.
If he had tried to even attempt to
Oh.
hook the ball,
I think when he just had that touch on his shoulder, he just
You know. Sometimes I wonder if the footballers really understand that they are being watched by millions of people all over the world.
they know.
How can you do this?
They know they're aware.
And
They're aware. Sometimes they just tend to forget in the moment.
yeah, I mean, in the heat of the moment, you do tend to forget, and your focus is all about what is happening on the pitch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean I get that, but then after that, there's VR.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's
you
what-
can't
okay, fine,
really
yeah,
trick the referee anymore.
You see that one time, but they are going to rewatch it from multiple angles and in slow motion, and you still want to.
Yeah, you can't.
I like how you put it.
Yeah, you can't trick the
we all
referee.
agree.
But
The referee makes a mistake.
I'm very disappointed with Cunha in that sense, because if he had just attempted to poke the ball with his toe, he would have been able to draw the defender in to make a challenge, and he would have been the first to get his foot to the ball, and that would be a penalty. I don't know why he decided to just throw himself to the turf.
This is one of the causes of the negative reputation of Brazilians and South Americans in general when it comes to things like
This is
diving.
even better. Back in the day,
Yes. Just throwing yourself to the floor. And this one, it didn't even look convincing. He just threw himself to the floor.
But they do the same thing he did. He does it sometimes, and once the other, like if the other player had just made enough contact, it looks like penalty. And that's where I think there's a point where people need to realize that players are like purposely also playing on. It's little advantages, and to them it's not cheating, but it's how I can get advantage. So if someone sticks his leg out, I run into it and then I fall down. If someone puts his hand up in the box, I play it against it and it's a penalty. And players are also realizing, because referees are not using. I mean, obviously the how do you call it? The cliche is you either want common sense or you want consistency.
Yeah.
Referees are trying to avoid how do you call it inconsistency. They are trying to apply the law as they saw it, as they read it, and maybe how they understood it. And that means that players are also going to look into the technicalities of the law and say
And when
that
they do the copper test, there are situations that you use to apply the laws when you are rehearsing ahead of the season.
yeah, I don't know if it's
You know.
maybe it's I
So-
also think that probably obviously all the other leagues are large. If you make a mistake, there's a problem. I feel like the Premier League, as soon as you make a mistake, like your name is everywhere. When they mention the game, there's a lot of criticism that comes with how do you call it, being the head of a.
The game is
Yeah,
ended.
yeah,
It says
yeah.
you are surprised, right? Because the thing switched.
Now I'm looking at, and I thought
Yeah,
Bournemouth
yeah.
how do you call it, or Fulham.
No,
were-
so we're on the Bournemouth game now. It's a
Yeah.
CFC Bournemouth 1 palm.
Yeah, I mean, just to on a point on Wolves, I think Wolves
Mm.
are actually one of the worst Premier League teams ever. They won 3 games all season. I keep saying it. They have not been this narrative that under how they call it, Rob Edwards, they've become this magic, like this wonderful new team.
It's not true.
They hadn't won a league game before he got here. They sacked Victor Pereira after 10 games.
Yeah.
Since then, they've won 3 league games.
Mhm.
This is what's magically 36. That's 36. That's not a good team. And they've brought in a lot of recruitment. They brought in Adam Armstrong, who was with Southampton the last time they got relegated. They got Angel Gomez, who was really highly rated at Lille. He even got into the England squad, and now, I mean, I don't know if he'll be making it to the World Cup. I doubt it, but I think he didn't do his chances any favor by coming to play specifically for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and coming in January. I think when they are, I would
Their
say their
fate was
relegation-
more or
their
less
fate
sealed.
was very much sealed. And I mean, the match is over now, but I think Wolves, they've done really well for themselves to have 18 points. To win 3 games was 9 points, and so that means they've done really well for themselves to not be in contention with Derby County for one of the worst Premier League teams of all time.
We're going to talk about another team that could cause an upset or puts people on the line this season. Talk about a team that's gotten one of the most decorated managers ever, compared to one of the managers who go into this league and was regarded as one of the best as well. I know you know what I'm talking about, but as a Liverpool fan, you don't like me when I talk like this, but that's still fine. So 3 games that started at 2 all ended, and surely managers are going to be sacked at the close of the season. Managers are going to be
I mean, I
hard.
don't think Chelsea can sack anyone again, so they are good. But the main problem with, I think, everything that's causing at least interest in terms of the last Europa League spots, because if you look at it right now, it's really tight. I think Bournemouth, as we are looking at it, Bournemouth have 55,
Yeah.
Brighton have 53, and Brentford have 51, but they've played one less game. So if they win, it could be 55, 54, 53.
Man, Brighton chasing.
Yeah, and it's
Chelsea.
all spearheaded by
Chelsea
Chelsea's lack
Brighton.
of form,
Mm.
which definitely means that if Chelsea want to make it into some form of Europe, like we said, they have to win the FA Cup to get into the Europa League. But it means that either Bournemouth, Brighton, or Brentford, one of them, or possibly Everton, but I think it's a little. They probably should have held on to the win against Man City on on Monday if they wanted to be in the driving seat for that. But now it looks like the other teams are better positioned. But it means at least one of these teams would be going into Europe, if I'm right, for the first time in their history, which is a credit to all 3 of them and the seasons that they've had, especially Brentford with how much was expected of them.
Oh well, do you have a feel, Kobe, that these players are trying to avoid injuries ahead of the World Cup? Why they are playing like that? Yeah, I mean, it might sound funny. It might sound funny, you know. That's why I'm taking my time to to ask the question. I know you've got your attention on the Fulham,
But
Bournemouth game,
whose
but
players in particular are you talking about?
maybe Manchester United. From the games we watched, there's 3 games we watched,
I
right?
say the whole scene. There's a bit of like it's end of term. You know when you're in school and it's getting.
We've written exams already. I just keep us for the last few days. Yeah. You know, for the Premier League game.
As a goal?
No,
Bournemouth had a really
almost.
good chance.
Yeah.
Especially
You know, the Premier League show had a segment in there a couple of seasons ago. I think maybe about 5-6 years ago, where it was like on the beach or in the game. So I think they were in the last 5 matches of the season, and they were just checking it. They were just asking in each game, would the team be on the pitch? Would their minds be on the pitch, or would they be on the beach mentally? Because some of the teams, they come in and they've already achieved their season's goals, or their fate is already sealed. Some of them are already relegated and so on. So you'll be asking whether they'll be interested in the game they are playing, or will they just, come and be mucking about here and there. So I think for the teams who already know what they are going to get, who are already aware that, okay, I'm going to play in the championship next season, or I've already gotten Champions League qualification, so I don't need to put in all that effort. So some of them will be focused on the World Cup. Some of them, they know with the way they've played this season, nobody is going to call them for the World Cup. So they are just
Exactly when I saw Luke Shaw.
Exactly.
I'm like, everybody here looks like they are like trying to take you. Like, why is Luke Shaw like?
But Luke Shaw miraculously, no matter how poorly he plays, somehow when it's a time for a tournament, he finds his way into the squad. So
I like how you say miraculously.
Yes. But there are some seasons too before a tournament, Luke Shaw plays very well. I remember the Euro 2021, the season before that, it was amazing.
He scored. Okay, no, I think that was against Croatia. Oh, no, it was against Italy. He scored in the final.
Yeah, in the final. Yeah, and the season before, he was very good. So he just finds a way to get into the teams. But apart, there are some guys who know that, look, at club level, we already know what's going to happen. At the national team too, nobody is going to call me. I don't have a chance at it. So they are just planning where exactly they are going to spend their summer vacation. Yeah. Some of them at the beach, some of them will go back to their home country, some of them will even go and watch the World Cup and just enjoy themselves. Then when it's time for pre-season, they'll go back. So, as a professional footballer, you just, as we discussed last week when we were talking about Delap and all that, you know your level. Speaking of Delap, he knows this World Cup, he's not going anywhere. So you should just discuss with his friends if they will go to Bali or the Caribbean. They should go have some fun.
As for the Caribbean, that is where they should ban Zirkzee.
Yes.
But I mean, it's a sad news for the Caribbean cottages, isn't it? I mean, Fulham were trying at the last minute to find an equalizer, and that ball that struck the bar?
Yeah, crossbar.
I mean, I think they were just unlucky, At home, I feel they played better. We can walk through the numbers in that game, and maybe that could just throw more light on what I'm trying to bring your attention to. Fulham indeed had an overall XG of 1.18, AFC Bournemouth.
I mean, it's true. Look at the Inter squad. The changes that they've made, it's reflective that, okay, this is a team that has won the Serie A title, and they shouldn't stress the players who are going to the World Cup. Because look at the goalkeeper. It's Martinez who is the one starting. Normally it's Jan Sommer. Jan Sommer has qualified to the World Cup. He's going to play with Switzerland. You look at Federico Di Marco. All of those guys.
Dumfries
is not playing. Though he just came back. He recently came back from a very long injury. But he's not playing because at the end of the day, the league has already been won. His team has qualified. His country has qualified to compete at the World Cup. And the last thing you want is, to have a situation where he tears something and he can't go to the World Cup. Lautaro Martinez is playing because he won't be the starter at Argentina anyway. So, and on top of that, he's had some major injuries this season. So, it's like, okay, let me play as many games as I can to boost my chances of potentially starting ahead of Julian Alvarez, which is very slim. Or just get myself in that groove where I'll be able to be in the perfect shape to come off the bench. Because even Marcus Thuram, for instance, he knows that he's not a starter in France, so no big deal. Let me play as many games as I can to just boost my chances of making the team. And he got a boost in terms of possibly making the France national team because of Ekitike's injury. So you look at the squad, Barella is playing because Italy didn't qualify to the World Cup. If they are qualified to the World Cup, I doubt he will play in this game because they've already won the league, so there's no point playing. There's a reason why Akanji isn't playing, but Achebi is starting. Akanji is going to the World Cup with Switzerland. But Achebi, Achabi is not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. He's going to enjoy a nice summer vacation. Basic 2 for Germany. I mean, maybe
He's
he'll be
not.
called up,
Yeah,
but
he's
he
not
won't
a
play.
starter.
So, I mean, it's just enjoyment now.
I thought when you saw the team, you saw a 2-striking team that Zirkzee could fit in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, that's why I said like for me, he should go to Italy because that league is where you get a situation where they play 2 men up top, or it's very slow and adapts to your pace, where you can be the lead striker but still play as a 9.5, where you are not necessarily the main goal scoring outlet, and you have a situation where you have guys running off you and you can be the one providing the pass. So for instance, in this Inter squad, they are playing 2 up top, but the bigger guy, that is Marcus Thuram, he's not the main goal scoring outlet.
Yeah.
It is Lautaro Martinez, the smaller guy who's playing off the bigger guy. So Marcus Thuram plays more or less like a 9.5 role because he's expected to hold up play and drop off the pass.
Which is far better
And
than
drop off the
Zirkzee's
pass
9.5.
to Lautaro Martinez or the guys who are coming in from midfield like Barella and Mkhitaryan and company.
Yeah.
So in that sense, he plays the 9.5 role. So though he's a bigger guy who's expected to be the one leading the line, he still ends up playing like the smaller guy. Where, you know, for instance, France, like, and Kwashi alluded to this.
The Griezmann situation?
Yeah, the Griezmann-Giroud situation. Griezmann is a smaller guy, Giroud is a bigger guy. But it was a situation where Griezmann was playing off Giroud. So Giroud was playing like a 9.5 kind of role, where he's not the main source of goals.
Maybe the
But
guy
at the end of the day,
somewhere in this.
by the end of the day,
okay, well, no.
by the end of the day, he's able to be the one to retain possession aerially, hold off play, and drop off the pass. So that's the thing with this whole quote unquote 9.5 position role and all of that thing. But like I said, it's about the application. Apply yourself. Giroud didn't score a goal at the World Cup.
2018.
The 2018 World Cup, he didn't score a goal. But we also the contribution that he provided. But you look at Zirkzee, their contribution is next to nothing.
Goes to
It's not there.
zero.
The goals two are not there. So what are you doing?
What is your function?
That's the thing. You can be misprofiled, but at least the basics.
What is your profile?
Get it done. You thrive in being able to link up play, but here's the case where your link up play has been poor. Here's a case where you are expected to be able to use your body to retain possession. You can't even hold up play. So what's the point of having you on the pitch and paying all that money that Man United paid? Though it wasn't astronomical like the Jadon Sancho and Anthony deals, but at the end of the day, per the expectations, he clearly flopped, and he didn't even meet a quarter of those expectations. That's the thing. He didn't even meet a quarter.
Just because he brought him up, hasn't Sancho been worse? And technically,
Honestly,
the worst thing is he hasn't
let's-
actually been there.
Let's not even go into the Sancho.
Honestly, if I'm to pick between Sancho and Zirkzee,
I'm picking Zirkzee.
Zirkzee has been worse than Sancho, because at least Sancho gave me moments again. That was it. Arsenal Liverpool game.
Yeah.
That goal that he scored. At least Sancho gave you some moments that made you think that only if he could check his attitude. But Zirkzee hasn't given me anything for me to believe that only if
Maguire had scored that cutback against Liverpool, he'd have a few more memories in him. But I think, how do you call it, Zirkzee has. But I think Zirkzee has been,
Look at Inter. You've scored already.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah.
Toro.
Oh, look at how they all jump into the space.
yeah, because
I
he's had
never
a
see-
frustrating
I
season.
never see Zirkzee and
He plays alone.
what's
If he
the
had
name
someone
of the
to-
other striker?
Sheshko.
Zirkzee and Sheshko jumping like that.
They don't play
Because
together
they,
often.
I mean,
can't
even when
play
they play
together.
together, nothing
Nothing will
happens.
happen.
Yeah, because I mean, Zirkzee is the one who's supposed to be the one working off Sheshko, and he barely is able to run like 20 meters, so that won't work.
I mean, on Inter, the third piece thing. I mean, the scoring thing is becoming really strange. I don't know if you teams can't just set up, or they get very worried. But I think after the first ball, after the first contact is made on the throw-in, there's almost always panic, regardless of whether it's the team that the defending team or the attacking team. There's always a loose ball that, and people have said it's the trajectory of the ball. So when it's a free kick, it comes in hard. So if you need to head it away quickly. But if it's a throw-in, because it's harder to get power on the ball, it means that the ball is able to stay in the danger area. And I feel like this season, a lot of that has been happening often as Inter take the lead. I was seeing that Inter, Kivo winning the league, interestingly, is the first time since, I think, Mourinho, that's, how they call it, a non-Italian manager has won the league. So I think if the Conte won 3 before Allegri came in, and then Sarri went before, I think Allegri won back, and then they went back to Simeone. Simeone. But I just find it really strange that I think other leagues are doing much better with that, but the Premier League has still never had an English manager win the league, and I think it's I wouldn't say it's far gone now, because but as it stands now in the foreseeable future, I don't think that's also going to change very soon, and I just think that it's just very strange how you manage to grow your league to such an extent in the football, but the managers, how do you call it, in terms of the tactical brain behind it, obviously maybe Carrick and Lampard are about to change the that's probably the best hope. Maybe one of these, either the class of 92 from United or the they haven't been good. Schools and Neville haven't been good. So let me put them aside. I don't think Beckham is interested in those things. I think it sound like maybe Fernandes. But like that's a different point. I think tactically, I wonder if there are any English managers coming up. I thought the best choice was probably
they had it back in the day, in the older generation. The Terry Venables and co, Roy Hodgson, all of those Steve Bruce's and co. But those guys are out of the system. This chap, Alan Pardew, the guy who was at West Ham, who was a specialist in saving Sam Allardyce. Those guys, they represented a different generation. They are out, and presently there are managers out there, but unfortunately they are not as quote unquote old and as super established as those guys, and they are on the come up. But unfortunately, we live in a society right now, especially football society or sports society, where they don't give enough chance for the guys on the come up to be able to thrive. Liam Rosinho is one. is one. Frank Lampard
is one.
No, I'm talking about the EPL, English coaches. Frank Lampard is one.
Yeah. He
had a good start, but Chelsea didn't give him enough patience after he got them to qualify to the Champions League, and he bounced around a little bit. It is this Coventry project that has given him a little bit of life. Other than that, Frank Lampard's career would have pretty much been over or curtailed. And so it's all about, look at all the pressure that Eddie Howe is under right now. Because, and for me, I think he's been there enough. And looking at the options that are out there, I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle decide to sack him. But per what we've heard, they want to keep him, which is good for the English managers beat. But like I said, there are quite a number of them out there. Unfortunately, they just not super established as the older generation. They are almost there, but they are not there yet, or they are on the come up. Because you look at McKenna, the Ipswich coach, another one. There was Wolves, the Wolves coach, Rob Edwards. He's also another one. And so you have a handful of them.
Before he was like his bad.
O'Neill. He's done well since he moved over to Strasbourg.
I think that's probably what they need to do. They probably need to move out a bit more, because when they stay within the league, the visibility gets hard. But if you look at someone like Gary O'Neill, even the former Brighton coach, Graham Potter, he got his view from when he went to work in Costa and So staying within the country isn't going to, and that's what gives the other managers that flair. Like, you see these managers coming in from Italy, from Portugal, from Spain, and it's because of the experience that they have in the clubs that they are working with. And I think sometimes these clubs also give you some sort of luster in terms of who you decide to go for. I'd say someone like Amarim, like working in Portugal, that as compared to maybe someone who was probably also going to work in the first division within England. I think they would have probably considered Amorim to be someone who's more experienced, and also including the fact that most of these other countries, you guys play in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I think in England it's been restricted to the top 6 and maybe a few other teams. But any other teams, you can have like Braga could play in the Champions League, Porto, Sporting, different teams, and because of the experience at that level, you're able to also learn a few things or two that makes coming to the Premier League not that different, or not that that big of a task coming for you. It doesn't phase you that much when you're coming in here.
This is
another one, the Brentford manager,
Keith.
Yeah. But then,
but he's super fresh. Like he's way outside the scope, because he's super fresh. He just got promoted to the head coaching role, so he should stay put for maybe like 3 or 4 years before he gets talked about.
And I think earlier on I made a point about Brighton managers moving. I think I meant Brentford. So it's Dean Smith and Thomas Frank since he moved on. They haven't been able to replicate their success.
And
elsewhere.
to add to what everyone has been saying, I think it's also steeped in the history of the Premier League starting. The Premier League started out with the idea that they wanted to sell English football. It wasn't just the football itself, it was the spectacle and so on and so forth. And they realized that transitioning from the first division to the Premier League, they needed to bring in talent, because the talent pool that was present in England itself in terms of management and in terms of footballers would not be sufficient for it to be a worldwide sensation as we've seen it, as it is today. And so what they did was import managers, bring in managers from other countries, bring in players from other countries, managers with fresh tactics, because tactically speaking, British managers have not been as creative as mainland Europe or as managers from other continents like South America. They tend to be very dogmatic. They come in with the 4-4-2. It's gone were the days where English managers brought in tactics that changed the game.
Move grind.
Yes, exactly. And so when managers from other countries come, like with Arsene Wenger coming from France, I mean, before he came to Arsenal, he was managing in Japan and all of that. Managers, Gerard Houllier from France coming to coach Liverpool, Rafa Benitez from Spain taking Liverpool to a Champions League, to I think 2 Champions League finals and winning 1. All of that, it's all from outside. So they never really developed that core or that tactical base. So when it comes to English managers, all the guys we mentioned, Alan Pardew, Sam Allardyce, these are not coaches that you would hope to win you a Premier League or a league title anywhere for that matter, because their tactics are survival tactics. Sam Allardyce will come into your team when they are on the verge of relegation. Yes, these are managers who will take you from relegation further to a solid mid-table team, but that is as far as they can take you. David Moyes' best seasons at Everton were seasons in which he got them to finish 4th, get them into the Champions League, or keep them mid-table, something of that sort. That was the sort of manager that he was, and he was the brightest and best of the British managers. I mean, of course, after Ferguson, who was actually winning league titles, but he's Scottish, not English. So when it comes down to tactics, English managers have a very long way to go when it comes to managing big teams, because the English clubs themselves do not trust their own managers, and the top teams in England have very few English players who are actually protagonists within that team. When you look at the Arsenal squad and you are looking for English players who are actually taking the club there, you can only mention 2, Rice and Saka. When you look at this current Man City team that are competing for the Premier League title, can you mention an English player? If we are saying maybe an English, we can say maybe Mark Gahey. But apart from that, in terms of Nico O'Reilly, okay, yes,
well,
fine.
And if we're being fair, you probably have to include Semenyo. He represents Ghana, but in terms of his upbringing and wherever he came from,
yes,
he
definitely
would be considered.
Definitely. His footballing education. Yes, his footballing education is from there.
I'm just pointing. No,
it's English. Yeah.
That's an English boy. You're going to call him. He's playing for Ghana. There's no problem.
It's fine. Let us not drift.
But I mean, the point still stands that when it comes to the big clubs, very few of the players themselves are English. So that's a huge problem. They import the talent and then they leave their players more or less in the dust. And that's been a big issue in Italy as well. And it's been a huge causative factor for their inability to qualify for World Cups. The fact that the big teams in Italy are more interested in signing foreign talent than developing the Italian youth in the junior teams. And that is what has more or less closed the pipeline.
Great.
I think the Italy issue, just a quick one. I think the Italy issue.
When we talk about the City situation,
I think the Italy issue with their national team's difficulty in qualifying to the World Cup. They haven't qualified to the World Cup in the last 3 editions.
Yes.
It's not down to. I hear people talking about lack of talent, but I don't think that's the issue. I think it's a lack of strikers. I think it's a lack of strike because go through every department of that Italian national team. There's a world-class player in every department, except the striking position.
The current one.
Yes, in goal they have Donnarumma.
Yes, world-class.
World-class. Even their backup, he's the goalkeeper for Juventus, Di Gregorio. Yeah. Very good goalkeeper. You look at their defense. Bastoni is one of the best defenders in the world.
True.
Federico Di Marco is one of the best left full backs in the world. Then you go to the midfield. Nico Barella is one of the best midfielders in the world. You get it? And there's another player.
Tonali.
Thank you.
Tonali, Manuel Locatelli.
Locatelli is solid. He's not world class, but he's a very good player.
He's a solid player. Yeah.
I mean,
You get it.
Surrounded
And
by world class.
Tonali is close to world class. He's close to world class, but Barella is world class. So every department, they have it. But then you go to the forward line, then what do you have? Because you don't necessarily need to have top level wingers these days. You can have wing forwards, inside forwards, and still thrive. Because I mean, Ghana, for instance. Oh, that's a goal. Oh, okay. That's just a highlight. Okay. Yeah. Because Ghana, for instance, our usual starters, we don't have top level wingers in there. I mean, we use wing forwards, Semenyo, Iñaki Williams, then play Jordan through the middle. You get it. So you don't necessarily need world class forwards, but you do need a top level striker. And they don't have it. What are their options?
I mean,
there is a pardon? Skamaka. There's Retegi. Then there's the Ivory Coast chap who plays for.
I mean, Moise Kean had a good season for instance.
Yeah, but he's not world class. But he's not world class. You get it? He's not world class. When they won the World Cup,
he's okay. He's okay.
Oh, he's okay. Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, you're remembering the Everton.
Oh no. He's okay.
Whether Juventus, PSG, Fiorentina, he's okay.
Retegi is Argentine. They went to literally beg him to go and trace his ancestry and find an Italian grandfather up in their family tree just to make him eligible to play for Italy. And even that, he's not world class. Look at the time they won the 2006 World Cup. They had world class players in every department of their game. The defense, there was Cannavaro, all these players, Alexandro Nesta. The goalkeeper was a world-class goalkeeper, Buffon. Their midfield, Pirlo, Gattuso.
So you feel the striking role is us.
Guess what? Their strikers. Look at the strikers that they had. When Ghana played against Italy, they had Luca Toni, Iaquinta. That time he was the best top goal scorer in Italy. They had Luca Toni. They had Vincenzo Iaquinta. They had Alberto Ghilardino. They had Filippo Inzaghi. They had Alexandro Del Piero. That was what they had. To the extent that Del Piero was coming off the bench.
Yeah, because Luca Toni was
he was the top goal scorer in Germany and co.
In any defender's flesh.
You get it.
His movement.
You get it.
Striking instinct. Fantastic striker.
For me, the Italy thing, I think it's overblown. Because look at their youngsters. Destino Udogi is Italian. The Atalanta have this chap, Scalvini, one of the best youngsters in world football. Then the Atlanta also have another guy in there called Anes Agallo. He's of Nigerian descent, but he plays for Italy.
Yeah,
Then you look at the
situation you
Then you look at the Brentford. We are about to watch Brentford.
Yeah.
Michael Kayode.
I want us to go.
Michael Kayode. Michael Kayode is Italian. So I look at that situation, their present situation, the players that they have presently, and the youngsters coming through. Esposito is also a good player.
Yeah.
Francisco Esposito.
Yeah.
For Inter Milan, but he's not world class yet.
No.
They have a good chunk of players coming through their youth ranks, and they have very good a collection of players who are established and are world class. But unfortunately, they do not have a world class striker right now.
Great.
And that is the reason why, one of the main reasons why they struggle so far.
Great. Yeah, we've got about 8 minutes into the game, the Manchester City game. But after Monday's trailing 3-3 draw, at Everton, Manchester City know that they will likely have to win every game between now and the end of the season to reclaim the Premier League title. And even that might not just be enough. Because those points dropped on Merseyside means it's no longer in their hands. And even a win this evening would leave them 2 points behind Arsenal. But the Gunners also face a tricky game against West Ham later tomorrow. And now is the time to try and ramp up that pressure, because if Arteta's side are anything less than perfect, the rest of the way, City have the chance to still to steal in if you want. So today is a must-win game. It's Brentford up against Manchester City. I want us to walk through the lineup for the two, and for City, Ake is in the center. Back Kushanov is out, and Tijani Reinders starts in the midfield. Nico Gonzalez dropped to the bench. For City, is Gianluigi Donnarumma in posts. There's Nunes, Magay, Netaneke, Nico Reali in defense. Bernardo Silva, Tijani Reinders, Antoine Semenyo, the Ghanaian international. Ryan Cherki in there. There's Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland. For Brentford, Ajer comes in at centre back for Van de Beek. Then there's Hinkie who starts at fullback. Ouattara makes way. So Kalaya in post for them. Coyote at the right. Ajer indicated. Nathan Collins and Aaron in defense. There's a double pivot of Matthias Jensen, and Yeho in the middle, and Kevin Shad, Damsgaard, Lewis Porter, and Igor Thiago. Let's stay with Igor Thiago and Erling Haaland. Before we do that, Sevilla are back. They're leading Espanyol by 2-1. And it's 90 plus 7. Yeah, 90 plus 7. We've done we've done all the 7 and waiting for the referee's whistle. It ends like this. Crazy stuff on Sevilla. Crazy.
There's this weird thing. I think either teams chasing the title or battling relegation, there's a certain level of football that can just come over here. And looks like Sevilla also found this, save themselves just in time, because like I said, the season is almost over and they still look like they could be in trouble. So this could be a big win for them.
Wow, that's important. I got Thiago. The Manchester City game scored 22 goals. Erling Haaland has got 25 goals. Look, this game might just be the game we'd want to watch for the season. For these two gentlemen, they know what's at stake. No.
I mean, it depends how many penalties Brentford get. But, I mean, all credit to him. He is second on the list. He has the second most goals in the Premier League this season. So this is clearly a meeting between the two sharpshooters of the league. And I think Haaland has already staked his claim. I'm surprised that since his first season, he hasn't been able to replicate the form. I think initially it looked like he could go way beyond I think the record was 32. So when Salah set the record earlier, it looked like he could go way beyond that. He ended up getting just 36. but but how do you call it? But he's still been a good striker for Man City. I think amount-wise, if City lose this game, Arsenal could either probably win the league by either the next game or the game of the play after that. Like, it's where we are in the season right now. Every game is vital. Brentford themselves were going through a bit of a slump. They drew about 5 games in a row. They were able to get a win last week, a very important win last week, 3-0 against the tricky West Ham, as you said, and I think that they can cause a problem for City, and I think City themselves they should be worried about the threats that Brentford pose. And I've had the same thing. This is not the prime Man City that we remember. The Guardiola Man City, where they go with Silva, De Bruyne, and Fernandinho in the middle. This is an entirely different team, and I think people were not desperate, but people saw City doing really well again, and were eager to link it to a previous timing with City were able to do crazy things. And I think that was slightly rushed, because there was also the instigating factor of, I'm not saying that Arteta isn't doing what Klopp is doing to Man City, but I think he just reacted differently under the pressure then, and maybe the players that he have this season are of a different mindset. Maybe I don't say they are younger, but they are less experienced in these type of situations, and I think it makes it. You can clearly see the ones who are instigated, like Haaland, Ruben Diaz. There are certain players who are clearly very fired up, but not everyone has been, like I said, has the experience to go through this. City know they need to win to keep up the challenge, but if I look at it now, we weren't expecting
the guy keeping a red ribbon tied to the head.
We weren't expecting either team
should
to
be a
step
blue
up,
should be a
City-
blue ribbon, bro. This is going to create a lot of that's a national color.
Maybe that's what he had.
Come on, you have a lot of things at your disposal. You don't choose a red ribbon to tie your hair, huh?
Blue?
Yeah.
I'm thinking black, because blue also feels a bit, I don't know.
Oh, that's
On the nose.
sea blue. What's their color?
Yeah, sea blue, but
Yeah.
it's a little on the nose to wear blue shirts and then wear like.
Really? Well, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I mean that's
Yeah,
it.
but no, like I said, I need to expect either team to slip up this season. I think Man City have already slipped up, and I don't. Arsenal were the ones more likely to buckle under pressure, if that makes sense. Like Arsenal were the ones who, when the heat got up, they were probably going to crumble, and it looks like with City crumbling, it puts them under much less pressure. They can just go play their really good football, and then if they win their games, and they don't even need to score as many goals now. If they win their games, they win the league, and I think that puts Arsenal in a different mindset already entirely. Obviously they've been in this position already, and they've somehow ended up being back in a position where they were going straight to City with the title. They already had their buffer and they blew it. So this is not saying that now that they have a buffer, they're guaranteed to win it. But I think the thing that was most likely going to get Arsenal was the mental pressure from having to compete with City. And now that City have given them that gap where they know they just need to play their football and win their games, Arsenal go through and win. For City, they need to do what they can and try and win every game. But from this point on, Arsenal probably look the most likely to win it.
This is 97.3 City FM, and on 0539986996, your thoughts are in that space. It's Manchester City up against Brentford. James game just kick-started at the Etihad, and we're hoping to see what magic this game produces. But this is your time for you to phone in and let us know what you also think on what we've discussed, plus the City game against Brentford, and what you think about the top two goals scorers of this league. I got Thiago and Erling Haaland. 0539986996 and 0549986996. You can phone in now into the show, The Republic of Football. We'll get your messages across when you phone in. So you can call now and let us have a chat on 97.3 CTFM. 0539986996 0539986996 0549866996. Let's have you on the line, and let's talk. But before that, should we go for a break? All right, let's go for a break. When we return, we'll get you on the line for you to talk.
City 97.3 Accra.
0549986996. This is 97.3 City FM. Republic of Football on your radio. You can have your thoughts shared with us on 0549986996. We're doing a City game alongside. 5 minutes in place. Brentford 0, City 0. The game is at the Etihad. Live on X, City FM 97.3, hashtag the Republic of Football. Say hello to the guys who are watching us live on X, to the guys on YouTube as well on City Sports GHA, to the guys on TV at Channel 1 TV, on radio 97.3 City FM. You are all welcome to share your thought with us. Get on board on 0549986996, 0539986996. You can phone in now. Read a few of your messages from our YouTube. Where guys have been talking about a number of issues. JKX comes in with something light and says, I think for the sake of investors, FIFA needs to consider point deductions for clubs that decide to play goalless draw. He comes back and say, how can 22 grown-up men play a match and decide not to score a goal? City with another bottle job incoming. Or City battle job incoming. Oh, Kobinamo, I don't know where I get this message from, but maybe you want to say Arsenal. Casemiro has a goal today. He had Brentford no be falla like that. Kobina comes in and says so. Okay, he believes Casemiro goals is tried up before the World Cup. We'll see what pans out. But City is trying, it's best to come in with certain number of opportunities. Let's get into the messages on the WhatsApp console. We'll get back to the guys in studio. You can also call on 0549986996, 0549986996. Let us know if you are a Chelsea fan. I guess the season is really, really over. A Liverpool fan, if you're a Manchester United fan as well. If you're a City fan or Arsenal fan, this is the opportunity to get in. If you are an Italian football lover, today the Inter Milan fans joined the Lazio fans after the team went to meet the Pope, to sort of agitate not to get this game on. Lazio Inter are leading by a goal to 0. We'll get to learn more. But Raymond the Decoder Inside Time Community 4 says tomorrow Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 4 at Company. If you know what's happening at Madrid, you lower your expectations. I tell you.
You should rather be predicting the number of red cards we can expect with Madrid's
Inter
new
just scored.
comeback.
Inter just scored its second goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Why is Pedro still playing for strike for Lazio? he's quite old. I don't know if even the move there after Chelsea, because even at Chelsea he was old.
Yeah, but still Chelsea. I think he won the league
Chelsea,
twice.
he
Or
played well,
so. Yeah.
and he won a league and FA Cup.
Yeah, that's why, or another reason why Zirkzee should go there. He should go to the Italian league. It will fit him properly.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if he goes to a team like Lazio, yeah, it will work well for him then.
Oh,
You can even try and rehash things with Bologna. Maybe
Yeah,
they'll take him
and
back.
think about it. The thing is, Lazio has been coached by Maurizio Sarri.
Yes.
Sarri is a guy who can definitely use a guy like Zirkzee.
Zirkzee, yeah.
Yeah, so I think if I'm his agent, I'll be looking at the Italian league and a team like Lazio. Honest, I'll be looking at the Italian league and a team like Lazio, or or Atalanta. Per the way they play, yeah, that's one very good option to look at because of the way they can combine their strikers and support strikers like the Katula, Skamaka, Zirkzee. Zirkzee will be a good fit in there. So I think the Italian league will suit him best.
Even the players you mentioned, there was a different caliber before he got to Zirkzee. These players are not.
Yeah. But I mean, even looking at how Rasmus Højlund is performing at Napoli, it's not great, but it's better than what he was doing at United. So sometimes you just take what you can get.
And we also need to point the pattern of players doing much better after they leave United. Anthony and the like.
It happens. But the thing is that they when they leave United, where do they go? Anthony is at Betis.
Yeah, Real Betis.
Yes.
McTominay went to Napoli.
Before McTominay went there, Napoli had won the league in 2023. But even before then,
You won the league with them.
That was an entirely different
team.
that was
It wasn't a completely different team. But I mean, looking at Napoli,
Lukaku was
just
leading
before
one.
that,
That was Lukaku, and they had what how do you call it, Skelly and Osimhen.
Yes.
And Fabian Ruiz was still at that team. That I feel like it's too. I get the point you're making. But I feel like
even
the way Italian football moves on to, there isn't even necessarily a consistency. So you see that I think Inter are probably probably one of the most now. They won it.
Look, this guy is going to advise himself with all the arguments that you're making. I know Zirkzee knows he's not getting an opportunity at United, so that's fine. Reggie says signing.
United, though. He's okay. Don't worry.
Reggie says signing at the end of the day. Brother, two what? Yeah, do you know Reggie? Reggie is praising how the light is glittering, allowing your head glitter this evening. Is there the 4x100 games which will be played in Legon for free, or we have to purchase tickets? Oh no, it's open. You go
open to the public, man. Enjoy yourself,
yes,
Charlie.
please.
So the football isn't looking good today, so go and watch something else.
Yeah, enjoy. The Manchester City and Brentford situation is I mean it's been going on for a minute. In the game with both managers trying to get the game a bit tactical and pacey, trying to avoid errors and winning balls in tight spaces. But for example, Brighton wins a free kick in a crazy area in the game. I see you have a stare. Do you think they have what it takes to obstruct Manchester City and bring this all-important party and its talks to a perfect end?
Is this strange that I probably think that Brentford could be more motivated than Man City? Purely because now that Man City is out of Man City's hands, I don't know if they could be resigned to their fate in terms. Obviously, they still want to win that match. They're probably still geared up, but I think Brentford could be slightly more motivated to be the ones who spoil the party, and that could be a factor. I get what you mean, but at the same time too, like we've been saying the whole season, this is not a vintage Man City team. They play good football at certain moments. They've had standout performers, but even on their standout performance, some of them have gone missing. Like Foden had this brilliant run where it looked like his World Cup spot was guaranteed. He hasn't had the same form. Apparently there's talk. Guardiola was speaking about how he has a new contract on the way. I mean, I think he'll probably stay at City for the rest of his career. But these are the moments where they need to matter.
There's Maresca who's waiting. He's made a promise to Maresca.
The Maresca thing is really interesting because what do you want after you've had Guardiola? Generally, what dimension is Maresca going to bring that Pep Guardiola and all he's achieved at Man City hasn't done yet? I don't know. I feel like people. I get the maybe it's just you want something new, something fresh. But I think the Man City talk where everyone seems very eager for Guardiola to move on, and for someone else to come in, unless that person is coming in with a winning track record and is going to guarantee that you're going to compete in the league every season. Like these things are not guaranteed. We've seen it with Man City. We've seen it with Manchester United with Ferguson. We've seen it with Liverpool with Klopp. These like challenging for titles is not necessarily a God-given right where because of how big a club you are, it's going to happen. And I think Man City need to, if they are going to move on into a different manager, one who is more how do you call it? I wouldn't say tactically flexible, but who is tactically different. I think they also need to. The squad needs to be improved before they get to that level. Just to bring the focus back on the season. Brentford can definitely spoil Man City's party. They have enough variation in their game and they're in good enough form. And like I said, City are the ones who at this moment are under pressure. So yeah, there's a lot that Brentford can go with.
All right, let's see what transpires in there. But it seems City are creeping up, the pitch and in the wide areas. Brentford has gotten runners against them, and that's where City's strength seem to lie. And if it goes on happening like that, that's going to be a war, isn't it? Semenyo and Doku's area. I do not know, but I have a feel if that keeps on happening, it's going to limit City's chances in this game. I don't know, but I mean, Mano.
I was looking at it. It could. Semenyo, like I said, his form has also switched a bit. He's going with a white headband instead of red. I don't know if you have any other.
Who was doing that as well?
So
a white?
No, so
Doku's got a white.
Doku has green.
A green.
Semenyo has white. I think you're right. They should probably just have a standard issued club band and give it to everybody because it's a whole rainbow going on. But yeah, I think they need their better players to be in good form. But the only player who I can say probably who has been in good form throughout the whole season has been Zirkzee. And even Zirkzee, he has this everything has to run through me, and that's how he has a good game. And there are times where there are games where sometimes he just needs to let things happen, be on the periphery and how do you call it, and then pop up at that vital moment and do it. Because sometimes it looks like you're trying too hard. If that makes sense. Yeah. And obviously he's one of those players. He's always calling for the ball, always asking for the ball. Sometimes, like we said last week, he was sometimes going too deep to retrieve the ball. But sometimes you just need to be in the game rather than always having to seek to control. And this is one of those games where if he's not like things are not coming off him creatively, City might struggle a little linking up the play between their midfield and their forward line. And that's another. It's not a how do you call it, a sequence, but like when you play Zirkzee in midfield, it means he has to do the work of a midfielder. He can't necessarily always and I don't think he trusts him enough to play him out wide. I think out wide he prefers Doku and Semenyo. Even Savinho, it seems like we're seeing less and less of him. But he prefers to have two proper out and out wingers, and that means Zirkzee has come into the middle, and that's again in terms of he works hard. But I think he works harder on the ball. If that makes sense. I think he's one of those players, and it makes how do you call it? Like I said, when things are working for him, everything is brilliant. If things are not working for him, things are not brilliant. City are drawing the game right now.
I think they're all over the place.
As it stands, they are 8 points behind Arsenal. If Arsenal win their game tomorrow, how do you call it? That takes them to what? 9. That takes them to. I think that means they would go. How do you call it? The gap would be too big.
The gap would be 8. Right now it's 5 points.
Right now it's 5 points.
But then if City draw this game and Arsenal win tomorrow, it will be 8 points.
I think it's already
right now it's 71-76.
Right now it's 71-76. Yeah. So if Arsenal were able to win their game tomorrow, I think it could almost. Yeah, I mean the league is done if City fail to win. But
Arsenal has gotten 76 points. City's gotten 72 now because they are drawing.
City's got 72 because they are drawing. I mean, do we have a call?
I think we've had a challenge with our line. Is it 05? Let me do that again. I think we've had an issue with it for a second. 0549 986 996 0539 986 996. Let's try and see if we get somebody on the line. We check somebody on the line. Let's check it. Hello. Good evening. Your name? Where are you talking to us from?
Good evening. I'm Izoli, calling from Oyarifa Special.
Oh, that's great. It's great to hear from you. Let's talk. What do you want to talk about this evening?
I'm a United fan, and I'm very excited that we've qualified for the Champions League. And I need the Blazers family to do reinforcement to bring in more better players and ship out those are not good. And I would like to talk about the Champions League and the Europe. I think the 3 trophies in the European competition, the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League, these 3 trophies are coming home. Even though I'm a United fan, I wish Arsenal will take the trophy. They are going to make history. What hurts me most that the record that they are going to set, that will be, it's going to look some way for me because they were unbeaten to the final, and if they claim the trophy, it will be excited for me. But the record, so it's a 50-50, but I want them to win the Champions League. As for the Europa and the conference, automatically it's already in England, but the Champions League, little bit scared for Arsenal, but I know they are going to lift it.
All right, that's great. Thank you very much for contributing to the show. 0549986996 0539986996. I guess we can have calls now. The lines are active now. Yeah.
Just to touch on that quick point,
issue,
Sancho being in a third consecutive European final in 2 years is actually quite an impressive record. None of them for United too.
That's fine. He didn't win all of those. So, hello, good evening. Your name? Where are you talking to us from?
My name is Bakushi.
All right, Kwesi, let's talk.
I'm calling from Amanase.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. I just want to show, contribute to the show.
You just want to do what? Contribute.
I want to contribute to the show.
Fantastic. We are listening.
Hello.
Yeah, stop listening to the radio. Move away from it. Better still, if you can.
Yeah, I'll move that. Yeah, I just want you to draw today so that's like I widen the gap. And as well, I want Arsenal to set record by go unbeaten on the Champions League.
That's good. That's so nice to hear. Thank you very much. That's great. Let's have more callers on the line then. 0539986996. Hello, good evening. Your name? Okay. 0539986996. 0549986996. It's 23 minutes into the Manchester City Brentford game. It's still 0-0. Hello, good evening. Your name? Where are you talking to us from?
Hello.
Yes, your name and where are you talking to us from, please?
My name is Roland, Budapest, Hungary, Arsenal.
That's great. It means Arsenal is winning the trophy on the 30th of May. Talk to us.
Definitely, we are winning the Champions League as well as the Premier League.
Wow, that sounds sweet. How are you doing it?
But one thing that City is doing, but I'm not happy, is that this season you didn't bring us live commentary. Why?
No, we issued a statement after this season. We're not going to have a commentary. So if you didn't catch that,
please try and bring your comment because your commentary is very, very sweet.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. He laughs in at. He has something he wants to say. Oh, what do you say?
Oh, I greet all the Arsenal fans.
That's fine. That's fine.
They should keep hope alive.
Thank you. 0549986996 0539986996. Hello, good evening. Your name? Where are you talking to us from? All right. He went off. 0549986996 0539986996. City's been. Oh, all right. Let's. Hello, good evening. Your name? Where are you talking to us from, please?
Good evening, David Latte here from Com 25.
All right, David, let's talk.
I just want to make an emphatic statement that Arsenal is winning the league together with the Champions League this season. And just as for the City fans, the only thing I will tell them is, just as you laugh at a child for believing in Father Christmas, know that there's a certain adult who still believes City will win the league.
Okay, all right, that's great. That's I think thinking deep.
So you can start calling us champions in advance.
Okay,
Thank
all right.
you.
Thank you very much, an Arsenal fan who's a champion in advance. Let's get to talk more. Hello, all right, he went off.
So where was this confidence when they were battling with cities? Like as soon as they have like a little gap ahead, now everyone is coming out here. We're winning the league, but
there's a call. I'm sure it's an Arsenal fan who will come out. Hello, good evening. Your name? Where are you talking to us from?
Bernard,
Ima, let's talk. Your Manchester United today played shambolically.
That's sexy guy. That's sexy guy. See, how do you call it? You tell him without even taking money. You are bringing him to Ghana Division 2.
But how do you sell somebody and say you are not taking money?
Oh, we are not taking money.
Selling himself as...
The person who signed Zirkzee, the son we will find that person. Everything hard. Very useless coach.
Oh no! Don't do that! Don't do that. The words are just.
How did you do what?
The words are a bit harsh. Don't do it.
It's so. No, you waste over 30 million. How much did you sign? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm only not pleased with the word you used on the coach.
I'm talking. What's the amount? How much did?
Take your time. Well, now
ask
your, hold on. Take your time and ask your question again.
How much did Zirkzee cost?
Zirkzee cost a bit to 42.5 million euros. That's 35 or 36.5 if you want to put it.
Wow, look.
Million pounds, yeah.
Wow, look at all this. Look at all this. I see. It's such a useless player. No in confidence. Like, you don't know what he's doing on the field. Like, I don't care. Anything. Like, it doesn't. See, he doesn't even look like a footballer. See, if I train for 1 week, see, I will strike the ball better than Zirkzee. What kind of footballer is this? You know the thing you are playing for. You know, you are going like this. Just normal. You are playing such a useless football for United. Look at the jersey away. Look at the number on your back. Like, this guy doesn't know the thing is playing.
It's okay.
I don't get it too.
Ima, it's okay. It's okay.
I know to do with this play well. What Zirkzee challenge? No effort.
I think you made your point. If I don't calm you down, you might throw another bomb. So you okay. I appreciate you. I think your point is Zirkzee is not playing well. He's not.
Why they push you up?
No, I'm not pushing you up. I'm just trying to help.
Why? It's anywhere that too. He said it all. See, this is he stopped playing football and where anything.
It's okay. Eka bona. I don't know. I chalk. But it's okay. Yeah, no, it's okay. Thank you very much, Ima. Thank you. I'm not cutting you back.
What is it?
It's okay. It's
okay.
I
want this Zirkzee and I blame coach. Coach I blame. Zirkzee.
Thank you.
Coach, I blame him.
Thank you, Ima. I've ended your call. As someone came, you've just made your point, but it seemed like you just go on that runabout. Like you, and then let him be the last caller. Hello, good evening. Your name, where are you talking to us from?
I'm Eric calling from Lashivi.
Eric, let's talk.
Hey, you go explain tire. You should thank God that United have qualified for Champions League. No amount of explanation that will give that will settle this. United, that's how they've been for some time now. So we should thank God that they are able to qualify for the Champions League. Now, someone sent a text and said City has bottled the league. But it seems you guys were trying to sugarcoat it. Bro, City has bottled it. They've done a bottling job. I remember when they defeated Arsenal, the kind of comments that came out. Arsenal have done it again to make things worse. That they are fan that took the Arsenal bottle when they defeated Chelsea. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
They went ahead to make a customized bottle for Arsenal.
No, he didn't. He actually got it from the Arsenal team itself, where he was seated at the stadium watching the game.
Yes, he got it. He got it from there, and then he brought it back to come and laugh at us, mock us. Now, who is laughing now?
It's okay. I think
City had it in their hand.
That's fine.
All they needed to do was win their matches and score more goals, and they'll be champions. Now they've bottled it, so nobody should try to have any excuse for City. Come tomorrow, Arsenal will beat West Ham and probably become champions on the 18th. Right. Then on the 30th also we'll beat PSG to win the Champions League. Oh, Charlie, it's going to be a nice day. Nice time. What a time to be an Arsenal fan.
Yes.
Arsenal fans, bring out your white handkerchief. Shake your white handkerchief. Because our victory is near. We are winning the Champions League. Come the 30th of
That's fine.
Man, thank you.
That's the way to end the show as well. That's the way to
They
end the show.
deserve it.
Yeah, they do.
I also tell Arsenal fans are slightly upset at people saying that they bottled the leg over the last 2 seasons. They are trying to do the same thing to City, but
They better hope they don't lose against West Ham.
Let's focus on
They
City
can't.
now. Let's City finish it. Guys, that's our show for today. Thank you very much, Jamie. Thank you, Kobe Obey. Thank you very much, Manuel Angelo Kachi as well. And my man Daniel Squashy as well helped us with a lot of technical assistance here in this show. We're sorry, the line was messing up a bit, but later we had some calls coming in. I am Bernard Abeko. This has been the Republic of Football on 97.3 City FM. It's been on X as well, on our official page, and on TV, on Channel 1 TV, and on City Sports GHA on YouTube as well. Thank you all who sent your messages and those who phoned in as well. We'll come your way tomorrow with another edition of the Republic of Football from 2 to when the game gets super attractive later at 5 p.m. We'll come your way. Do enjoy all programs on this show, or on this radio. Sports is life. You get involved.